the Millennial Gaze.
Hey.
I like that music.
Yeah, I know. They jamming already. Hey, everybody. What's good? What's good? It's Maymoney and Katie here. Bring us up full. Bring us up full.
Oh, yep.
It's Maymoney and Katie here for another impromptu special episode. And do forgive me for the last minute.
Tyler Cohen, thank you so much
for
tuning to our Yes on 50 voter registration day rally.
Oh, it's like a
guest list today. We're joined by some of the biggest fighters on the left who are meeting this moment with the urgency that it deserves.
This is like
of course, I'm joined now
YouTube
by
thing.
Governor Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Before we
Some of it
get
is,
into a little bit of our back and forth, just want to let folks who are watching know that we are hosting this rally because of what's happening right now. And what's happening right now is existential, not just for the left, but for democracy. Yeah. We have watched as Trump has issued his clarion call to Texas for 5 seats and how they responded. We've watched as he did the same thing in Missouri and how they responded. We're going to see the same thing in Indiana and then Florida. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see other states do the exact same thing. The reality is that this is how Republicans engineer themselves into a permanent majority, which makes it all the more important that we actually fight back. So the whole Republican movement across the country is going to pour money into California because they know that if they can beat this thing in California, then they have nothing to worry about in terms of pushing back against this overt, blatant power grab. So what we'll ask you to do throughout this evening as we try and raise money to counteract the avalanche of funds that are going to come in from across the country on the Republican side is we're going to ask you to go ahead and donate to yeson50live.com. This will help our efforts to make sure that everybody in California knows the stakes of what's going to happen on November 4th, knows the stakes of this referendum coming up, and knows that it is existential, again, not just for Democrats, but for the preservation of democracy itself. So that's going to be an important point that we're going to hit on numerous times throughout this evening. So with that said, I'm now honored to be joined by the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Thanks so much for taking the time.
It's great to be with you, Brian. Thank you.
So we are obviously broadcasting right now in the midst of a really difficult week. We've seen gun violence occur with the shooting last week against Charlie Kirk. We have seen the overt assaults against free speech at the hands of Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and all of these other purported free speech warriors. And so in light of what we're seeing right now, I'm sure that there are a lot of folks who are watching this who feel exhausted. And so what would you say to those people who are watching to let them know that this is worth staying on top of, this is worth continuing to fight for?
Well, I first say is you're human. If you're not feeling exhausting and anxious and in some ways fearful, then you're not breathing, you're not living. And I think we have to give some people grace. The last 5, 6, 7 years, we've been through a once in a lifetime pandemic, social unrest. We went through all of the challenges coming out of COVID with supply chain issues and runaway inflation and wars of aggression in Ukraine and challenges that we're continuing to work our way out. And so I just want to acknowledge all that stacking of stress that everybody's feeling. And of course, last week, just the ultimate punctuation. Just for what it's worth, Brian, you know this. I started a podcast not too many months ago, and Charlie Kirk was my first guest. He was gracious enough.
Yep, I remember that.
To not only say yes, he flew out.
Didn't quite
to do it in person, and I spent not just the hour plus in a very civil conversation with Charlie. I spent time with him after, and we stayed in touch, including my team staying in touch pretty consistently. And that's the spirit I want to bring to this conversation, is one of civility, one of grace, one of humanity, common humanity. Obviously, we have deep differences of opinion. Obviously, he was very offended by positions I hold dear, and I, in turn, very offended by things that he said and positions he held. But the fact is, we had that opportunity to engage. And so I would say, in response to your question, it's absolutely essential that we, in the spirit of this moment, hold ourselves to a higher level of civility and accountability. In the spirit of this conversation, accountability to the moment we're in and the consequences of giving.
I want to see if I could do this.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sweet. And then also, you can like mute it and stuff too, right?
Anxiety. The fact that you've tuned in means you've not tuned out to what's at stake. And I cannot impress upon people watching. It's all at stake. This is a profound and consequential moment in American history. We can lose this republic if we do not assert ourselves and stand tall at this moment and stand guard to this republic and our democracy. I feel that in my bones, particularly in light of what's happened in the last week.
So let's talk about the California map redraw, the situation that we're in right now.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and introduce our audience. Hey, Andrea.
Andrea. Hey, what's up, girl?
Hey. We should have started a little earlier, just so we could do this part. But this is the FAFO 50 event that was supposed to be broadcasted on the day that Charlie Kirk was murked. And yeah, so it was postponed and last minute. So me and Katie are just gonna sit here and hang out and listen to thanks. And just listen to the speakers. It's hosted by Brian Tyler Cohen. I'm not certain if this event was supposed to be live or if it was supposed to be like a live event, or if they changed it because of what happened recently. I'm not certain of that, but
they probably could.
Yeah, I in any case, I wouldn't be shocked if that was the thing. I didn't really like what he said, like about Charlie Kirk, and he was so graceful in this. I think that's bullshit. But let's see what they got to say before we chime in. You know what I'm saying?
I think that when it comes to Gavin Newsom, I think that they had the best. I think he had good interests, like good intentions at heart, to try to understand the right. But I think we've all realized by this point that they're too far gone.
They're too far gone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. All right, let's go ahead and see what you got to say.
It was rigged itself. He's quite creating a chill. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that as it relates to voter turnout and intimidation tactics. When we kicked off the campaign for Yes on 50, we did it at the Democracy Center in Southern California. Brian, you were there in Little Tokyo. You know well, and many of you watching know this well. Little Tokyo is the site, sacred site, where we shamefully bust the Japanese as we interned the Japanese. That happened. And at that exact same site, Donald Trump set masked private army. He sent out Border Patrol and ICE to intimidate two U.S. senators, a half dozen or dozen members of Congress, 100+ community leaders, to try to intimidate us from holding the rally in the first place. And a poor soul that just happened to be out there selling strawberries was disappeared by that same private army. That is a preview of things to come, I assure you, at voting booths and polling places across this country. Just as we said after he federalized the National Guard, and he sent the military, not overseas, he sent the military to a United States city in Los Angeles, 700 active duty Marines, is intended to chill free speech and free expression. The stakes could not be more clear, and the stakes could not be more consequential.
And finally, let's finish off with this. There are folks who are going to say that this isn't an example of good governance, and so Democrats should kind of practice what they preach and not do the same thing that they have disavowed for so long. And so, in this particular moment, what do you say to those people?
Well, we can certainly do that. We can have a candlelight vigil. We can hold hands. We could talk about the way the world should be. We could come out with a white paper and talk about, how did all this happen? There could be some best-selling books as we watched our democracy slip away, as we watched the rule of law turn into the rule of dawn, as we watch yet another law firm or another media organization sell their soul, or to see another corporate titan sitting there and give personal, sit there and fealty to the dear leader. We could see more companies get socialized and nationalized. We can watch universities sell out. We can see this democracy slip through our fingers. We can sit there and say, boy, people really should have stood up and taken this guy, Stephen Miller, a little bit more seriously when he called the Democratic Party a terrorist organization.
Oh, God,
or taking the Department of Justice and its attorney general, its leader, who said that any speech they don't like is now hate speech. and they'll have the ability to shut it down and say, boy,
I need
we
a
could have
word
done
for him.
something more, or we can recognize the moment we're in and we can meet that moment and we can push back, and we do it with some muscularity. We did this in response to what Donald Trump has done. And we've done it, in closing, Brian, in the most democratic way. And I would say that to those still on the fence. That's the difference between us and them. We're not only using our formal authority, our ability to fight fire with fire and redistrict, but we're using our moral authority in this respect. It's temporary, it's transparent, and it's democratic, meaning we're putting in front of the voters. This is the first maps in the United States that will actually be submitted to the people themselves. The maps will be on the ballot, and it's a temporary response to this emergency, this crisis of the rigging of the midterms. And we need to win this at peril that we'll lose this republic.
Thank
we'll
you.
lose
Yeah,
this
we're in a
democracy. It's not an
perilous.
overstatement.
Thank you for using the word
This is
perilous.
code red. We all need to wake up to what's going on. And maybe, in final words, maybe I'm saying that from the prism of being a governor of a state where I watched the military asserting themselves to try to take over for domestic policing, where I watched this private army that is the most funded private army of its type anywhere in the world, with ICE out there in masks, intimidating people and their free expression of speech. Maybe it's because I'm sitting here where the UC Regents are meeting tomorrow to discuss a $1.9 billion extortion fine because institutions of higher learning and independent thinking are under assault by Donald Trump. That happens to be UCLA in my state. Maybe it's through the prism of that, but I assure you, in every state in America, I assure you this is a preview of things to come.
Yep.
Perfectly put.
100.
And to underscore how important that is, the reality is Republicans know all of these things, which is why, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, they're going to pour a ton of money into this effort, because if they can neutralize California, that's all they need, especially with the weapons that they have at their disposal, meaning Texas, Missouri, Indiana, Florida, and on and on. So for those who are watching right now, if you'd like to help us make sure that everybody can become aware of what's happening in California, please donate what you can to yeson50live.com, and we'll be repeating that throughout the evening.
Or mute
With
them
that said,
or
I'd
something.
like to take the opportunity now to my friends at Crooked Media.
We'll get to them soon.
I'd say bros.
Yeah, we'll get to them. I just wanted to add a little bit to what we just heard. As someone who is in California, this was very important to me on the day that it was initially supposed to be had. And it still is. Again, the word peril is, yeah, that's where we are. I almost feel like we might be a little bit beyond that. Instead of saying we can sit here, we have been sitting here and watching this shit go down. And so let's just make sure that we are keeping in step with the pace that our enemy is moving. Stop talking like this shit happened in the past or is happening in the future or may not happen. It's happening now. We are living in this now, today.
Yeah.
And if you fight back against somebody, you got to accept that. And so that's what I really liked what he said. Before we get back to them, Katie, you want to jump in?
Oh yeah. So also for those of you joining us, all of you, one of you, Andrea, hi. We have a Substack, and I wrote my first thing today. I talked about Nancy Mace on Don Lemon and just listening to her talk about, how there's this war and these extremists, and the entire time I was like, you realize you're talking about MAGA, right?
Right.
But I digress.
But and that was a very interesting thing to witness. I highly recommend everybody check out that encounter between Don Lemon and Nancy Mace. It's very indicative of what it is that we're going through right now and the type of people that we're dealing with. She's a little bit of a different head case because I do think that she has like an issue, like an issue that needs to be like evaluated or something.
Yeah.
Because she's always kind of giving me that vibe. But like these people are terrifying, but we ain't scared. So let's see what these two guys have to say.
If we win the midterm, we can start trying to hold his administration accountable.
Good luck with that.
And so this now comes down to Prop 50. And I know some people might think, well, it's California, Democratic voter registration advantage.
I agree,
Should be
Andrea.
no problem. It's going to be, a lower turnout election. And so a lot of political junkies, like the people who are probably watching this live stream, are going to show up, and that's that. Well, the other side is going to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to try to defeat this, because Donald Trump and the Republicans are very aware that if we draw the maps here to, try to neutralize what they're doing in Texas and other places, that it's going to be harder for them to win. And, reporting suggests that on Donald Trump's mind are the midterms more than they ever have been. He is very, very intent on winning these. He's very, very nervous about the possibility of being investigated, his administration being investigated. So they are going to dump an enormous amount of money in here, and they're going to try to get their base going and to get people to turn out in midterm elections that don't usually turn out, that usually just turn out for Donald Trump in presidential year. So they're throwing everything they have.
And you know what would really help if we didn't have to have so much fucking money to win an election? Maybe we shouldn't do that, and this wouldn't be a fucking problem.
In California,
I feel like part of this too. Every time, I don't mind the Potsy Bros.
So we have to.
I get what they're doing
through communication, through spending money on ads.
You can turn them down. Turn them down.
Yes, on this.
But I don't mind the Potsy Bros. I like what they're doing. They're like, we worked with Obama. We have experience, so we can kind of do this. But so much of the shit that they say is like, why didn't you say this earlier?
Yeah, for real. Like, oh, now you arriving to the party or something? Like, okay.
Yeah. Like,
it's just, it's.
Ooh, let's listen to.
Ooh, yeah, Senator Elizabeth Word. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
That's the best news I've gotten all week. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much. Personally, but do keep in mind, I am here in Washington, D.C., and I go in every day that I'm here to work in a Senate controlled by spineless Republicans and to worry about what comes over from the House, which is controlled by spineless Republicans. You keep thinking about, why are they pouring so much into this? And I think you make exactly one important point, and that is Donald Trump does not want to be investigated. But I want to dig a little more on this, because part of what's at stake here is that what Donald Trump has been able to do over the last, how long has it been? 158 years.
Right.
Since January, when he was sworn in, is that he has been able to break the law over and over and over and
Thank
over
you.
and over and over.
Yep.
And people say, what can we do? Well, I'll tell you, if just the tiny number of Republicans in the House or the Senate would say, we're done, we're not doing that, you can't do that. Donald Trump, yes, you are president, but here are things you cannot do. And used our leverage and said, we won't pass anything out of the House and out of the Congress. We won't give you funding. There are all these things we would have power to do. The problem is the Republicans just try to outdo each other in how fast they fall to the floor to kiss Donald Trump's feet. And the consequence of that is the whole basic structure of government now is breaking apart.
Yep.
So here we have Donald Trump, the would-be king, and Congress, under the Constitution, there was always this unspoken presumption would jealously guard its power. Well, it's not under Republican control.
Mm-hmm.
It is acting like a frightened child, just anything Donald Trump wants, just don't let him get angry with us. And so you've got the House and the Senate under Republican control just falling to the ground. The difference, if we had either of the houses under Democratic control, is that stops. And if we have both houses under Democratic control, now we are truly back in the game in terms of making our Constitution work again.
Andrea.
And so I just think it's an important part for everybody to understand. It's about the midterms. Yes, but please understand how important these midterms are. any accountability for Donald Trump, any accountability is going to come because of the midterms, whether it's investigations, whether it's we get spending back. You want to support cancer research, so do I. Let me tell you the way to do that. That is, vote yes on 50 so that we have a chance to get the House back. And that means we can be in those negotiations and make sure that the money that Congress allocates for cancer spending actually gets spent on trying to cure cancer. And I can just play that example out literally 1,000 times.
I mean, so it was incredible today watching Kash Patel, the FBI director.
I don't know why we have to do like rocket science.
And he is just clearly performing for an audience of one. He is shouting down Democratic senators. He's insulting them. He's speaking over them.
Did you see any of that video of Kash Patel today?
And the Republican chairman was,
I don't know if he did with
gaveling quiet the Democratic members. Like, to your point, at one point along the way, it seemed like each body or each institution like jealously guarded its own power above all else. But it seems like Republicans were just thrilled to watch this performance and to watch their colleagues be insulted.
Can I be just a little dorky and make the same point again?
Please.
That is what's happening with the Federal Reserve. So here is the one agency that Democrats and Republicans have said for 100 zillion years, yes, the Fed needs to be independent. Why? Because the Fed sometimes has to make really hard policy decisions. And so everybody wants confidence, whether you got a Democrat or Republican in the White House, that they're doing it as best they can based on the numbers, based on what the economic data are. That's what we hope keeps our economy steady and helps protect Americans across this country. So what happens? Donald Trump gets to nominate someone. The guy he has nominated, this is no joke, Dr. Myron, now sits as the president of the Council of Economic Advisors, working in the White House for Trump. He's not going to give up that job. He wants to keep a foot in that boat while he goes over to the so-called independent Fed. And so every Republican senator at our hearing last week in banking, I know it didn't have all the sparkle of the Patel hearing, but every Republican senator, I believe in the independence of the Fed. So I asked this guy who's Donald Trump's nominee, I said, you're going to be independent, right? He said, well, he's going to be independent. He wrote up his notes. I will be independent. I will be Mr. Independent. I said, great. Let's just test out how independent you can be of Donald Trump. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election? Mr. Independent could not answer that question. Well, it was ruled by a blah, 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 Senate and was confirmed, blah, blah, right? He could not bring himself to say this. So I said, okay, let's go to another. Let's go. I realize that one's
freaking cowards.
Let's go to what Donald
These
Trump
people
said
are cowards. I don't know why we sitting here asking them shit. They're not going to tell you anything of value. It's better if they just shut the fuck up and go somewhere.
I said, Donald Trump, and I read the quote, said this person lied and tried to help Kamala and falsified data. And I said, is that true? Again, here's the guy who's chief economist, literally could not say that maybe, just maybe, the president got a word or two wrong when he called the head of BLS a liar and a cheat, and just maybe had overstepped a little bit. And I use that as an example of everybody who comes through to be confirmed.
Stop having hope in it. If there's anything to have hope, it's definitely not that
of Donald Trump might be looking. And I am so grateful to Donald Trump. They all say, and I will do whatever he wants me to do. That's why I see Prop 50 as a fight for the independence of our democracy, a fight to say there's a check on power. For everybody who shut up for no kings, this is your chance in California to show up and just say, power, we get it. Presidents should have power. But there's got to be a check on that power. And right now, there ain't no check on that power. It's not coming from the Republicans in the House. It's not coming from the Republicans in the Senate. It's sure as heck not coming from other people in government. And this is our chance to get a foot back in the door on that.
That's right. So donate to, you're on yeson50live.com, presumably, if you're watching this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not, go.
Like, I don't understand why these Republicans think that he's going to help them. He's not.
I mean, it's even like the Democrats don't think that they're still like holding on to some false hope that this motherfucker gonna change or something. I mean, like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Am I tripping? Am I the crazy one? Because what I see is some fucked up shit, and it seems like everybody is just now waking up or something, or like landed their plane from outer space, because you must not have been seeing the same fucked up shit that I've been seeing for like the past year now. Even last year this time was fucked up. I mean, sheesh.
You know, the people like the people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, who are all like right-leaning people throwing money at him and his administration. I know for a fact there are left-leaning billionaires and shit out there too. Help us. Fucking help us.
Like, do some. Hello, knock knock. Are you there?
Right. Like,
it's like talking to like at least a wall sometimes has like pictures on it or something to read. These people are like
the Republican Party. And I have to say, this is a refreshing shift from that, where it's all right, you're going to try to rig the game.
This is Luke
We're actually going to have a powerful
and this, I don't know this guy's name.
Yeah,
but,
we're going to
he does look familiar. I like both of them.
No, it's incredibly powerful. Like, you know, that's one of the things that made me so hyped about this from the very beginning, because in an age where Democrats just don't have power, and to be fair to the Democratic Party, despite all of our criticisms of it, right now at the federal level, they are locked out of power. They are limited in what they can do. And so that's why I think it's so important to recognize and reward and encourage what Governor Gavin Newsom is doing here in California, because he saw the terrain and he's like, okay, I'm not limited to, you know, sternly worded letters, right, and some TikTok videos. I can actually take decisive action. That's what he did. And, you know, together with California Democrats, he got a supermajority.
I understand what he's trying to say about Democrats not having power. And yes, there's like, you know, the 2/3 majority, 50-50, whatever. But actually still try to do something. And they're not. It's all, a lot of the times it's like performative theater and that kind of bullshit. And I'm waiting.
Just because you don't have the power per se doesn't mean you have to be a little bitch. Okay, those are two different things.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see if Cory Booker and Hakeem Jeffries come on, because I'll have a lot to say about that.
I think they were on the list.
She was previously on.
I'll look.
I'm gonna grab my chapstick.
See how since Trump got into office, there is this, yes, spineless, but just kind of incoherent argument we hear every time Republicans in the Senate or the House are challenged on something. And a reporter asks, hey, are you going to use your power to rein in Trump on tariffs, on immigration? Are you going to do XYZ on the Epstein files? Will you push back against Medicaid cuts? Here's 11 things in Trump's horrendous bill that was now signed into law that would be destructive for Americans. You have power. It can't pass without you. What say you?
The guy on
and
the left is pondering politics. All of them,
with very rare exceptions, is Trump.
Yes, pondering politics. Robert
American
Garcia, I believe, is a representative.
Never.
He's in the,
been trying to acknowledge that they were also elected, and for a very specific purpose, which is they have power as well. And to see an institution,
he's on there,
the Supreme Court too, willingly giving up its own power to the executive branch in some of its rulings. And Congress now, you would think at least ideological self-servingness would motivate them to do something. But instead, it's that same talking point of Trump was elected and he has a mandate. And I think it was correctly framed by Elizabeth Warren that this is more than just a California issue. And it's more than just, hey, let's
the airline's not having to pay for.
It's actually about bringing
Andrea,
to a
clarify that statement.
What has been an
Beta O'Rourke will be on.
restrained presidency.
Oh
thus far.
yeah.
And speaking of Congress, I mean, you
There are
mentioned
going to be
Senate,
a
we got
lot
really
of
good
speakers tonight, you
representatives
guys.
also
A lot of
bringing in.
really
We've
good
got
ones.
Representative
Oh,
Jimmy
Katie
Gomez
Fang.
of
I like Katie
California's
Fang.
34th district. What's going on,
David
Congressman?
Raskin. I like him too.
Oh, you're muted, sir.
There we go.
There we go.
Surprised
Yeah.
You'd
Dawn's
think
not
after
on
all
this.
these years, I'll know how to do that.
I am too.
Listen, the fact that you got
I
it
am
like
too.
resolved in 3 seconds and not 50 seconds actually gives you a leg up on me. So I'm not going to judge.
It's like, wait, come here, staff. No, they're not here. I'm kidding.
Eric Swalwell. I like him.
So how are you? I mean, with all this going on, what do you feel about Proposition 50?
It did say like
How do you
much,
feel
much
about all
more.
this?
Maybe he
You know
knows
what?
about it. Maybe he doesn't. I'm not
I
sure.
want to kind of like
I'm sure he
paint a
does.
picture of what's
Yeah.
at stake. Because a
Bill
lot of
is will be
people
on.
think
I
that
like-
this
I
is
like
just
them too.
another.
I didn't get any
normal election.
indicator that he did
Everything's
know,
at
though.
fucking stake this election. It is.
We should
if
invite him to
we
come
do
hang out
not
with us.
Win back the House, then you're looking at a permanent MAGA version of America, not for 2 years, but at least for the next 10 years, because it is because they're going to solidify all the cuts that they did and build back better. They're the cuts to Medicaid, the cuts to SNAP, the
I'm gonna
big
look up
tax
who this
giveaway
is because
to
I
the
need a
largest
refresher.
corporations and the richest people in this country. Everything becomes solidified. And if there's no check from Congress and there's not been one from the courts, then the using the National Guard in states like in cities like my own city is only going to
He's
spread.
the representative of District 42 in California.
Of the National Guard and the Marines going into Los Angeles. We knew that this was going into Chicago, DC, that it was going to spread. So people have to understand that we're in this together. If you do not want this permanent version of America that's being developed, that's being built bit by bit by Donald Trump and the billionaire establishment, then we got to pass Proposition 50, because it is just a counterbalance to them trying to rig another congressional majority, starting out with stealing 5 seats in Texas.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the way you phrase it here, because, you know, Luke and I are talking about, long-term democratic institutions, but the fact of the matter is, it's not just so abstract. I mean, this is a democratic majority would be able to prevent meaningful harm to the American people now. In the short term, as you said, like all of the Medicaid cuts that the Trump administration is aggressively pursuing, they're trying to gut the Affordable Care Act. And again, all of this to pay for exorbitant tax breaks for the people who need it the least, and to say nothing of, you said, the consolidation of power. If there's any oversight capacity to be done, if we're actually looking into Trump's corruption,
Andrea,
for
after
example,
this, we'll be lucky
the $5
if there's
billion
any
he's made off
independent
crypto, the
farmers
$3.5 billion.
Let's keep this
according
one
to
up
another
because,
aspect
or
of monetizing the
keep
presidency.
this in the back.
That
because
oversight is he's like
I have something to
looting
say
the
about that.
treasury of the United States, effectively, for all intents and purposes.
JD
That's gonna
Vance.
come from a Democratic
JD
majority,
Vance.
and the only way that's going to happen, given all the gerrymandering and the election rigging he's doing, is if we pass Proposition 50.
Absolutely. And we got to pass Proposition 50 to counterbalance that, win these seats. But every single day, Democrats need to continuously earn the support of the public. That means showing up and fighting. People don't fucking support a boxer who said no mas in the ring. They want to see you throw down, even if you're losing every round. They want to see you stalling the Republican agenda as much as possible. People think that we didn't do anything in the House, but guess what?
I like him.
The fact that we were kicking the shit out of the big billionaire bill, or Trump's one big beautiful bill, over and over and over. That's why it's such has low poll numbers, because we pointed out the flaws and how it was a big giveaway and how it's just corruption in legislative text format. And then we also said, you know what? We got to talk to the people that feel like they're getting screwed over by the system, the people we lost the last election. What Gavin Newsom is doing, what a lot of members of Congress are doing by going into these red areas, because those are the people we have to win over. But if we allow them to gerrymander, rig the election, and we don't respond, well, shame on us. And here's the thing, it is going to be solidified. The MAGA version of America will be solidified.
Where have you been, bro? We need more
this
people
is a
like
fight
him
for
talking.
our democracy, to hold this corrupt family, this mob family accountable, and make sure that we have something to push back with. And don't get me wrong, we win, it's not going to be all unicorns, rainbows, and sunshine. We're going to have a caged animal on our hands, and that caged animal is going to get more aggressive, not less. But at the same time, I'd rather have that situation.
Great way to put it.
Have an opportunity to win the fight versus one where we're basically where you have Republicans in Congress capitulating the authority of the legislative branch.
Yeah, I want to give the final word to Luke. I just want to say for donations, please go to yeson50live.com to back up Proposition 50. Luke, what do you say, man?
Yeah, I was just going to say great points there. I do think, and I have one question if we have time for the congressman while we have him. I'm not able to see the chat, so y'all can just jump on when it's time to wrap. But I think it's crucial, the message of what it is, investigations in reigning in the power of Trump, priorities that are framed as against Trump's actions. And it's pretty dang clear, as you talked about, with the lack of popularity of Trump's monstrosity of a bill, that his agenda, that and other aspects of it, has been successfully messaged to be bad for most Americans. The thing that I do hear a lot still, though, when I'm just chatting with people who aren't super political, but kind of a little bit have their ear to the ground, is a feeling that I get the Democrats really want to stop what Trump's doing. But what is the clear, concise message as if they had all the power in the world, what they would be accomplishing? Could you speak to that, Congressman?
Yeah, absolutely. We would be tackling the number one issue for all Americans, which is affordability, right? Trump said he was going to lower costs on day one. He didn't do that. And because of that, what you have is a collapsing of belief that if you work hard, you can get ahead and your family can do better. So we would talk about an affordability agenda, an agenda for the American family that can allow them to buy a house, to get ahead, to save money for college or start a small business. What we're doing is actually doing the work. Last week, I just held 2 weeks ago, I held a national summit on the housing affordability crisis. It's one of the number one issues people talk about. And it's the first time there's ever been a national summit. So what we're going to do is going to go after these issues step by step: childcare, housing, tackle corruption in the Trump administration, and then allow people to have a belief that they can get ahead. Because right now, the people we keep losing are the ones that feel that they can't work hard enough.
Can we get above water first before we try to get ahead?
Whatever that is. So we have an agenda. And I believe it's going to be an agenda that restores people's faith, not only in the Democratic Party, but also in the idea of America itself.
I get that we have all these agendas and stuff, but
Thank you all. We appreciate Congressman.
We have to get out of this first.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I want to jump right on to the next one. But first, a quick note that we are at 98% of our first goal. So we're almost at $100,000.
Oh.
Yeson50live.com. If you've not yet donated, please help support this effort. This is the full ball game here.
That's why the bar kept changing. I was like, why was it down and then up again? Because it's different goals. Ooh, Katie Fang. And this will be good.
Yeah, this will be good. Anything you want to say before we get to them, though?
Like, subscribe, comment, share this, because we've got Andrea watching, and we love you, Andrea. But
I really like Robert Garcia, by the way.
We'd love to have more people watching. Oh, I do too. He's awesome.
I've never really heard much from district. Is now the ranking member of the Powerful Oversight Committee and represents one of the first instances of true gender.
We need more people like Representative Robert Garcia, like to be in front, like to how the fuck did I not never hear his voice or really know who he was until just now today? Like, that's not okay. We need to start. And he looks like a younger dude, potentially a millennial.
I think he's older. I think he's older than us.
Yeah, but there are millennials that are older than us. But I mean, like, we need people like that to be given the opportunity to do what they do, because he looks like he's been doing the good work. He has good ideas. He knows how to connect with people. He didn't sound like he was fucking around with any of these bitches. And so like, why are people like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries stomping on the people that want to come up and can actually do something to stop this shit? I bet you if we had like if they gave like a little bit more power or something to, or opportunity to people like Mom Donnie and you know, Maxwell Frost, who's going to speak today, and who else is it? You know, even like there's hella people, like a whole little 5 of them. We would not potentially not be here, or at least not as far down in the dumps that we are. Just if we had more people like them. And so
let's listen to them.
Up. Yeah, let's listen to them.
You can hide the Epstein files and ignore survivors. And in this case, this is Donald Trump's plan to essentially rig and steal the 2026 election.
Yep.
Completely planned out by him, Stephen Miller, and that entire team over there at the White House. And so they have been working towards this. It moved fast, but our reaction in California has been in response to the DOJ and Trump's trying to rig and gerrymander Texas. We have had, as you know, a commission in the state. By the way, I supported. I actively supported our independent commission, but we can no longer have 2 hands tied behind our back as Republicans steamroll their rigging of and gerrymandering of elections, as they try to take our rights, as they try to destroy the Constitution. And so I am committed to this fight. I'm so grateful to the governor for leading this fight in the state. And people got to know this is all about rigging 2026 and setting up 2028.
It's probably about to be
really
like a
important
3-hour
for people to know
event.
too, Congressman, that you're actually impacted. Your district is actually impacted by these maps that have been proposed for Proposition 50, and you still support it, even though your district has been impacted.
It has. Look, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually taking more Republicans than any other Democrat in the state of California in the California map, absorbing Republicans. And I, when asked you know, by a delegation to do so, I did it because we have our democracies at stake. And so this is not a moment for us to worry about not having competitive seats or about worried about you know, being in Congress for a lifetime. This is about winning the majority to protect people and to save our country. And so look, I still have a fairly blue seat. I'm going to win my reelection, but I went from a super safe, very progressive, deep, you know, over 30 points, 35 points, to a much closer seat, one where I'm having communities across Orange County in much more conservative areas, and more absorbing more Republicans than any other member of our delegation. And I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do, because we can win this seat, and we will. But we need people's support. We need folks to come out, vote for Prop 50, support candidates now that are going to have a little bit tougher seats. But like I told folks that have asked, hey, you know, you're pretty progressive. Is this going to impact the way you take on Trump or the Oversight Committee? And I'll tell you, absolutely not. Looking forward to continuing having the fire and fighting back.
Yeah, and even though Proposition 50 is specific to California, this will impact all of America when it comes to competent representation for constituents in Congress. I want to focus on the work that you're doing in House oversight. And the reason why is obviously part of the biggest part of discourse these days has to do with the Epstein files. If it wasn't for people like you, Congresswoman Summer Lee, and others, there wouldn't be this push for transparency. Talk about why making sure that Democrats have the right type of representation in DC is a sure pathway to make sure that we actually get the transparency that Americans deserve.
Transparency, that's another word that I want
to change our party is really important. And this is why electing and bringing forward new leaders is critical.
Right.
Katie, as you know, like when I was running for oversight, the leader of the Democrats on oversight,
I got confused for a second. I heard
Congress,
Katie,
so
I'm like, what I do?
A new person in Congress standards. And you know, we won our election. I'm the first sophomore to win.
That happens to me all the month of May.
In over 100 years in our party.
Do people sing that in sync thing?
Because that tells me that our caucus and the party
I've gotten that a few times.
That they understand that we've got to bring in new voices. We got to expand the tent. We got to let more people in. We can't be this party of like subtraction.
Where's Jude?
Why aren't we the party of adding more folks, of coalition building? And I think that's what Prop 50 is also about. Is we want to go national and take this national. And what's really critical is, as it relates to Epstein, you think about all the fight that we have in front of us. It's all these new generation, younger members that are pushing. I mean, you talked about Summer Lee. We partnered in getting that subpoena out. She's in my class. You talk about folks like Jasmin Crockett, who is on fire, I think, bringing and leading this country in so many ways on issues that matter to working people. She's on our committee. She's also in the class. And so I think you're seeing younger, newer Democrats. I gotta
go let this cat in outside.
What it means to fight.
Going berserk, and then I also could use a little bathroom break. I'll be right back. Okay, Katie.
Gotta back our governor. All right, we gotta be all in, because this could mean essentially us being able to stop the Trump agenda and dramatically slow it down, or giving him free reign to continue to rig more and more states, take away more of our rights, give more of our hard-earned labor to billionaires in this country, and to take away more healthcare. And so we've got to stop this now. And I'm proud that California is leading the way.
There's a false narrative that's being pushed by the Republicans that this is an apples to apples comparison when we look at what was happening in Texas and now what is being proposed with Prop 50 in California. Talk about why that's just a lie. That frankly, one, Texas had a freaking off-ramp that it could have taken. Governor Newsom gave it to Texas, gave it to Trump, gave it to all of them to be able to do before we got to this point in California. And why the opportunities that are being given to the California voters is definitely not what we're seeing happening in Texas.
I mean, what a shock. Republicans are lying about something. I know we're all stunned right now. But look, I think what's happening here in this case is that the difference between what Texas did, which we only are doing in reaction to them, is that they're gerrymandering through their legislature, not the will of the people. Their kind of public process was a complete sham. So many other Texans know this. And for us, look, we support a commission, but what we're going to do is we're going to take it to the voters. We're going to put the map on the ballot. So our map is actually going to be voted by the people, unlike what's happening in Texas. And so when we get Prop 50 across the finish line and we win, it'll be because the voters of California have decided they're not going to allow essentially what's happening in Texas with their governor to somehow dominate the next 2026 election. So I'm proud of what we're doing here in the state. And let me just add, because one of my roommates is an amazing Texan himself and a great congressman. Let me just add that I do appreciate all the Texans that have really fought this every step of the way back home in Texas. And we're here as partners. We want to support what they're doing as well. They need our support also.
Yeah, I see Brian here. I know we're going to be parting ways, but Congressman, I do want to remind everybody who's tuning in, if you go to www.yeson50live.com, not only can you donate, which you have to because Prop 50 has got to be yes, but you can also volunteer and you can sign up and get more information. I always say knowledge is power, and the more that we can share, we're definitely going to be in better space. I want to say thank you to Congressman Robert Garcia, representing the 42nd Congressional District from the great state of California. Brian, I see you, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. We really appreciate you being a part of this. And thank you for promoting Yes on Live, yeson50live.com. We are making quite a big dent in terms of getting these donations up. We are on our way to 200.
It's just basically the same stuff that they've been talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry about my sweaty and hot appearance. It is sweltering in my town today. But who's this guy?
Beto O'Rourke.
Oh,
and Mark Elias.
I never saw what they look like.
Mark Elias is a lawyer who's been suing Trump like 60 different times.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me look him up.
His efforts, including a record 19 Black female judges. So a huge accomplishment by Beto. Mark Elias founded Democracy Docket, which is a website focused on voting rights and election litigation in the U.S.
What's up?
How do you spell his name? Is hella tiny. I can't see it.
Beto.
I speak for everybody watching in thanking you, Mark, for the work that you do on the front lines in both the courts and in the media. So I'll leave it both to you to take it from here.
Hey, Brian, thank you for having us and for leading this effort in this conversation here tonight, and for everyone who's part of it, getting to listen to the previous conversation. I'm pretty fired up, and I love the dots that the congressman was connecting between what has happened in my home state of Texas and what you all are doing right now in California. We're fighting fire with fire. You know, we didn't ask for this fight.
This is what I was hoping to
and we're fighting, and how important that
have
we do
is
this
some
at a
Texas
time.
people
So many have chosen to bend the knee
on our side
and to submit to Donald
speak.
Trump. I mean,
So I'm
all
glad.
the conventional centers of power, the Ivy League universities, the big law firms, with some exceptions, the media companies, Paramount and CBS, the tech titans, the billionaire masters of algorithm, all submitting, all who have the power actually to resist and to fight and potentially to overcome this slide into authoritarianism. And yet here you have some brave people here in Texas, the Democratic state legislators who broke quorum,
currently
Republican counterparts.
a representative anymore. He left in 2019. Okay.
But certainly to draw the conversation to Texas, to our democracy, and the need to fight. And then thanks to everyone in California, most importantly, Governor Newsom, for leading that fight and making sure through a very democratic process. Literally, this is going to be brought to the voters in Proposition 50, redrawing these districts so that we can pick up 5 additional congressional seats to replace those stolen likely here in the state of Texas. And lastly, and most importantly, to win political power, a majority in the House of Representatives. If we win that, there will be a check on Trump's lawlessness, accountability for his corruption and crimes, and the very real possibility of free and fair elections in 2028. If we fail, the consolidation of authoritarian power in Trump's hands, I believe, after 2026, will be unstoppable. More masked, plainclothes federal agents sweeping our fellow Americans up off the streets, more of his political opponents targeted for vengeance and retribution. And we know the Republican majority House of Representatives will likely try to roll out the royal red carpet for a 3rd Trump term. Those are the stakes.
Yep.
That's why it's so incredibly important to fight. And for everyone who's listening and watching right now, please donate, pitch in, support this effort. And now I'm going to turn it over to my hero, Mark Elias, who is doing great work across the country, including here in Texas, making sure that we fight with everything that we've got. Mark, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Beto, and thank you, Brian Tyler Cohen. You know, Beto is going to be on my podcast tomorrow morning, so everyone needs to check that out, and because he is a true inspiration. The thing about Beto that everyone needs to know is that there are a whole lot of people who are talking about this fight. Beto put himself between the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, who is an absolute raving lunatic, and the legislators. When Ken Paxton was threatening everybody, you better not show support. You better not say anything positive about these state legislators. By the way, sounds an awful lot like a president we have right now and a White House right now. Beto said, "I'll be damned if I'm gonna bow down or step back," and he stepped forward and was as critical to the success that we saw in Texas. And if we wind up winning this lawsuit, we will all owe Beto O'Rourke a huge round of thank yous.
Right.
And Brian, there's not enough I can say in the world about everything you have done for democracy, both in California and around the country. I see Senator Padilla coming up, another one of my heroes, Robert Garcia, Congressman. Great job. But here's the thing I need to tell everybody. Donald Trump is trying to rig the 2026 election because he is afraid that he is going to lose control of Congress. And there is no easier way. There is no more direct line from point A to point B in his effort than to set off a series of dominoes to redraw in the middle of the district, middle of the census decade, the maps to do that. He started in Texas and grabbed 5 seats. He has already moved to Missouri and grabbed 1 seat. He is going to move to Indiana. He's going to move to Florida, Ohio. The list goes on and on. And what we are watching in California is a Democratic Party, is an effort, a grassroots movement to not let this happen on our watch. You know, we can all agree that in a perfect world, we will have nonpartisan redistricting commissions. We can all agree that in a perfect world that we will not have mid-cycle redistricting. But the folks behind this in California, starting with the governor on down, they said, we are not going to sacrifice our democracy for a nonpartisan map. We are not going to let the U.S. Constitution and the state law become a suicide pact for democracy. This is an all hands on deck. If this ballot initiative passes, then we have a chance. We have a chance to show Republicans that they will not get away with these kinds of tactics and to enact a price on the Republicans in Congress, the people who have Mike Johnson's here, the people who have Donald can get an appointment with the White House, to convince them that they need to lobby against these efforts in the future. If this fails, then it is just going to provide more incentive for Republicans to fight harder. So the thing I need
what needs to happen is it
right
needs
now
to be
is go to
dismantled. They need to take this whole
yes50live.com.
shit apart.
Okay, I'll take a second. I got all the time in the world.
There should never be
on 50live.com.
here.
And I need you to go and I need to give what you can give. If it's
a little bit.
Yeah, we need.
I think that we can't go back to the same old regular schmegler because it's just gonna happen again. We need to like make sure that nothing like this can ever fucking happen again. Ever. He should not have been allowed to even be able to run for president from the fucking jump. Especially the second time. Especially the fucking second time. He is not qualified. I mean, did anybody vet the motherfucker? I'm pretty sure the Epstein files were available when he was running for president the fucking first time. Oh, but we just let sleazeballs and criminals just waltz into the White House like willy-nilly. We did this to our fucking selves, and it's pissing me the fuck off. And now everybody want to be all scared and shit. Well, you should have been scared a long ass time ago, dumb. Fuck. And now we got to deal with this shit.
So Andrea says we need more young people in the street, which I get. But now the thing that scares me is all of this stuff with like the wrath with Charlie Kirk and his death, because they're basically saying death to liberals, death to leftists. They caused this, and there's nothing good.
These are the streets.
Yeah, the stream. These streaming streets.
Yeah. These are the new streets. Ain't nobody gonna see your ass on the street, on the sidewalk. Not anymore.
Government, and a government of, by, and for the people that 249 years into this experiment, we are on the verge of losing unless we stand up and fight with everything that we've got right now. We're about 14 months left to us. And again, if we fail in this proposition, then we lose.
At this point, I'm pretty sure
if we win, we're in for another round or two for as long as we can keep fighting to win this thing back. And for everyone out there who is so sick and tired of Democrats not fighting with everything that they've got. As Mark just said, you finally have a governor here in California. You finally have a movement in California. You finally have a movement that's waking up the rest of this country that is fighting with everything that they've got. And it is so goddamn exciting because we have waited so long.
And we got all y'all money
in our party.
Just so you know
Do
that.
not allow this moment to pass
got all y'all
without
money.
a fight. And if you're wondering what your part in that fight is right now, it is donating, as Mark said, everything that you can right now. I will be joining you. Amy and I are going to be making a donation tonight. I bet Mark has already made a donation.
I'm on the website.
Yeah. So let's get it done. I mean, do not allow this moment to pass without a fight. That's why we're here.
Bro, and let me just say in 20 seconds here, Brian, I want to also echo what Beto said. Brian Tyler Cohen doesn't have to be doing this. Brian doesn't have to do a lot of stuff that he does to stand up and fight for democracy. And for all of the shit that gets thrown here and there,
he does.
We owe him a big,
it's an obligation.
Big debt of gratitude. There would not be a Mark Elias on YouTube without Brian Tyler Cohen. Okay. Like the Democracy Watch series that he approached me on has been vitally important in spreading the word, and he has done enormously important work. So thank you, Brian.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you both so much. And it's an honor to be talking to both of you. These are the biggest and best fighters that we have on the left here. So couldn't be more grateful for your voices here. One more reminder for everybody.
Yeah, I wanted to just say, actually, I want to correct him. I understand his sentiment, but I think it is actually an obligation. He does need to be here, and he needs to be doing this fucking work. At this point, it's an obligation for each and every one of us to have a little rinky-dink ass channel like we got right now, because if whoever we is reaching right now or in the future after watching this is who we, and we can connect to, is every step of the way moving forward, and actually some action and some movement. So yes, I think it's an obligation that everybody needs to be sharing this video and liking and putting it through the algorithm to let people know that people are talking about this shit. And it's not just the big wigs sitting here on our screen talking to us right now. It's actual people on the streets that have to live through all of this bullshit and have to watch it and are just like living the lives of just pain and misery.
Ooh, Ben
But before he's just introducing him, we know Ben Meiselas. But did you have anything to say, Katie, on that one?
My big thing while hearing all of this is is the giant yawn. But no, I want to know how we can just get people to start waking the hell up. Like these guys, you know, what they're doing is great. And
Right.
I get it. But like at this point, bro, they're preaching to the choir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we need to not preach to the choir. We need to shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah, and share and start getting people. People be like, "Oh, I ain't interested." Nah, we'll get you about to be interested. If you fuck with me, then you're gonna hear about this shit every day. I'm gonna keep you updated on every fucking piece of news because I'm gonna need you to keep your head on the swivel and stop fucking with these people. And also, California has the money. I just want to remind everybody about that. If we dipped out right now on this whole fucking bullshit, I think I give America a week in the state that it is in for not to go into like starvation and famine and shit. So I would highly be careful with California because we're not gonna play with you like that. Okay, it's already hard enough as it is. All right, go ahead. We got Ben Meiselas and Governor Gavin Newsom.
Bullshit. Excuse my language. That comes from Donald Trump,
Bro, we don't care.
and that's why it's important that we're not only winning the war in the spirit of what Beto and Mark just brought to this conversation on the ground, in the spirit of what Brian talked about in terms of this grassroots people power effort to push back against the well-heeled. But it's absolutely critical that we win the messaging war as well, that we organize in a much more, I think, much more, intense way to communicate over and over and over again our message across the spectrum, which is just foundational in all these efforts.
Yeah.
The federal government once again is heading towards another shutdown potentially, but Donald Trump has ordered
What is
MAGA
shutting
Mike
the
Johnson
government down gonna
and
do?
Republicans do not even have conversations with Democrats. He's repeatedly referred to Democrats as the enemy, radical, don't deal with them, don't even talk to them. You've been in politics for a little bit. That's not the way it always was, but it is what Donald Trump has turned the body politic into today, kind of this zero-sum game, if you will. And we see it play out over and over again. And, it seems as the American people are letting their voices be heard right now, he's getting more and more nervous, hence trying to rig these midterms.
No, look, I mean, I think what you've underscored is the fundamental point here. Trump is weakness. He's weakness masquerading as strength. He's flailing.
It's not even strength at this point.
The economy is cooling.
It's
Inflation's starting
just-
to rise again. Consumer confidence is down. Credit card debt is going up.
I
The
get more
tariffs
worth out of my dirty
have
socks
terrified our
than I do
allies.
out of
And
this man.
taxes are being felt on the American people, middle-class families. His only legislative success, the big, beautiful bill, is anything but. It's a big, beautiful betrayal. And we're seeing all of these authoritarian tendencies as a response to that weakness. And the more you see caps in his Truth Social and his tweets, the more that just underscores the fact that he's flailing. That's why he's trying to rig this election. That's why we're having this conversation. That's what Prop 50 is all about, pushing back in a meaningful and substantive way. But one cannot underestimate the lengths to which he will go to not just rig the midterms, but the impacts if he's successful well beyond that. And I really appreciated Beto and Elizabeth Warren, Senator Warren, others really highlighting that, Congressman Garcia, that this is not just about 2025, impacts on 2026 and 2028 and beyond. The consequences of this initiative to set the tone and tenor into 2026 to de facto end the Trump presidency. Next
better
year's
be
midterms,
donating to the
whereas
building
Tommy
fund,
said in
the
the
ink or
outset,
something.
Donald Trump will no longer be able to sign any bill because we'll finally have a check on his power.
You know, living in California is something that I have a great deal of pride about. We are the 4th largest economy in the world. If California was a country, we are a giver state. We give $80 billion plus more to the federal government.
And we can stop
we
giving
take.
that
By
shit.
contrast, Texas takes about $75 billion more than it gives. You go through every stat in entrepreneurship, companies. California is leading the way. Is that, I mean, but it's constantly under attack by Trump and lots of people in red states who, let's face it, I know how Donald Trump likes to falsely say that the United States
I don't know what y'all broke
subsidizes
hoes
Canada,
is
which
even
is
trying to talk
not
about
accurate
right
and
now.
completely false. But let's face it, a lot of these red states are failing. And but for California kind of subsidizing the country, yet they then come and attack us here in California. I don't like that, Gov.
I'm with you, man. It's the California derangement syndrome. And with respect to our friend Beto O'Rourke, you're exactly right. $71.1 billion taker state. California,
broke bitches really like to run their mouth.
$83.1 billion donor state, meaning we provide $83+ billion more in revenue to the federal government than we receive back. And that is the case, vast majority of blue states. But we also have to state the facts. I live in California, you live here, size of 21 state populations combined, the 4th largest economy from a GDP in the world, more scientists, engineers, more researchers, more Nobel laureates,
more
than any
weed.
state in the nation. A system of education that's a conveyor belt for talent, the UC, CSUs, our community college system, pushing out the boundaries of
I love
discovery,
my
more venture
community
capital,
college.
and we dominate in the next big
It's
global
free.
economy. 32
It's been
of the
free
top
since the pandemic.
50 AI companies all here in the state of California. So our state of mind is about not just imagination, but it's innovation. It's dreaming and doing. And it's not lost on me, and it shouldn't be lost on anybody, that part of our secret sauce is the fact that we are able to get the best and the brightest from around the globe. First round draft choices. We're a majority minority state. That our best doesn't tolerate that diversity. We celebrate that diversity. All of that's on the line in terms of the assaults of Trump and Trumpism and going after DEI, ESG, CRT, anything with 3 letters, this guy seems to be assaulting. And so what Proposition 50 represents is an opportunity to check his power. It's about checks and balances. It's about the rule of law. It's about co-equal branches of government. And that's why I'm so grateful to you and so many others that are tuning in so that we can tune up an understanding of what's at stake with this initiative.
What up,
Let's talk about
Gov?
this event today
I'm
before
tuning
we
in.
go. National
That's my friend
Voter
Katie.
Registration Day, so it has an added layer of significance. The website is yeson50live.com. Everybody go there. I'm going to make a donation after this at yeson50live.com. But you bringing together all of these people here in new media, bringing members of Congress and senators and leaders together, rallying together to support our democracy and to support this existential threat. How big of a deal is this event today, Governor?
I think it's huge because you guys have done one thing that I think we all need. I imagine you might need, and that's some optimism, some hope. I think that we show up for each other. We're showing up for a cause greater than ourselves. And as Beto was saying, 249 years of these enduring principles and values, the best of Roman Republic and Greek democracy, about to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our founding fathers. It's all on the line. It's all at stake. And I think for me to see everybody show up like this, that's incredible. It gives me a sense of optimism and hopefulness. And what I think it also represents from a very organized perspective is that we're not just engaging in platform thinking, we're also engaged in platform doing, that we're actually manifesting something here. We have something to be for. We have work to do. We have agency. And what I think this whole engagement tonight represents is the power of the people. In a democracy, Brandeis said it best, the most important office is office of citizen. Active, not inert citizenship. And it's people making contributions, $3, $5, $10, making contributions by going out there and volunteering that will be the story that will define not just the success of Prop 50, but the story that I think will define this moment in the history books as we move into the 250th anniversary of
Governor, thank you for what you're doing. Great conversation. I echo what everyone else said about you, Brian, Tyler Cohen. You gave me that very nice intro, but you're the OG in YouTube, and you've paved the way for a lot of people like us. And thank you for putting this event together, Brian. Governor, thanks for fighting for us. You give us all hope to see the governor, the largest state in the United States, pushing back, fighting for democracy. Thanks for everything you're doing, Governor.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you both. And look, this is, again, to
Are
echo
those
what
only
Ben and the
speakers?
governor were saying, this is what it looks like when you actually put words behind
I don't
action.
think
No,
For
there's
so
definitely
long,
more.
Democrats have been begging for not just strongly worded letters, but for actual real action, for actual push to what we're saying. And that's what we're seeing right here in California. But that's just half the battle. This thing is going to be a referendum on the ballot, but California is a huge state, and it's going to require getting the word out to so many people. And Republicans are already doing it. The day that this thing was announced, we had Republican operatives sending mailers out to every single address in the state. I know that if you live in California, you've seen them. You've gotten those mailers in your mailbox saying to vote no. We have to push back. This is our way to protect not just the future of the Democratic Party, but the future of democracy itself. And that relies on being able to reach all of those people who aren't paying attention to politics on a daily basis, which, to be honest, sounds good for everybody's mental health. But the reality is that it's going to take a lot of push from all of us who are paying attention to make sure that people know what's going on. So we are getting very close to our $200,000 mark, which is a huge milestone. But please, if you haven't yet donated, go to yesonl50live.com. Okay, I'm so excited to be able to introduce our two next guests. We have Joe Carducci and Senator Alex Padilla. I'm sure you've heard JoJo from Jersey. She's worked so hard to make herself a household name. I'm also very proud to be from the same home state as her, the state of New Jersey, where it should be known that we have the best pizza in the country. Senator Padilla, U.S. Senator from right here in my new home state of California. This is the senator who made a name for himself this year by putting his body on the line when he was arrested by the Trump administration for daring speak out. And that's
crazy.
exactly the kind of forward-leaning posture that we want to see from our elected officials. So I'll let you guys take it from here.
Well, first of all,
Please
thank
be
you,
sure to like,
Brian.
comment, share,
I did not
subscribe.
know that you were from the Garden State.
Share,
the
share,
great
share,
state in
and
the
invite
country, no
people to come
offense.
chat with us.
I'm just kidding. I'm here
We're live.
from New Jersey, participating in this event
I posted on Facebook.
for Prop
but I doubt
50
that
in
was
California because I understand that the stakes of this moment are much greater than the best state on the planet, which is, of course, New Jersey. Again, no offense. But Senator Padilla, it is wonderful to see you again under slightly better circumstances than the last time we spoke. But I just wanted, I'm happy to see your face. I feel like we bonded a little bit in a unique way through some tragedy that happened last week. But I wanted to just start with something that is important to me, a thread that ties us together, which is that we are the children of immigrants. And the governor just said, in this country we celebrate diversity. Your parents, my dad, they believed in the American dream. They worked toward that end. They participated in achieving that. Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans, they don't appreciate that diversity. They, on the other hand, quite the contrary. They're trying to attack it. And so I want to start there, if you might.
That is a great
point
point.
right now for the American dream for people like your parents, people like my dad.
Sure. No, Jojo, great to be back with you. And I mean, I think a couple of things. Why does Donald Trump have it in for California so badly? It's because California is like the opposite of his vision. California is not the most populous state in the nation, the most diverse state in the nation, home to more immigrants than any state in the nation. And as you've been hearing, California has grown to become the fourth largest economy in the world. And that's not a coincidence. That doesn't happen despite the immigrant population. It's because of the immigrant population, the contributions of so many immigrants as workers, of course, but also as consumers.
I don't know why this is rocket science to people.
But
why the fuck can't people understand that?
What, that California is out here doing the Lord's work?
Like, y'all don't get it. Like, y'all don't understand that the more people come and contribute to your shit, and the more friendlier people are, and the healthier people are, and the more educated people are, and the more chill people are, the more weed people smoke, and the more fun people have, that we can just go ahead and like do some regular shit instead of all of this nonsensical bullshit. Like, her point was like really good, and I never thought about it this way. And I don't know this woman, but she said that like they don't want the American dream. They don't like the American dream for anybody but them. And they don't even have the American dream, and they literally are the furthest away from it, and are rooting for everybody else to, just be as miserable and fucked up as they are. It's disgusting.
It's very true too. Like, I don't understand why. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I get you.
I get you. Well, like, I don't understand why these people just like want to live in hell if it makes people that they don't like unhappy. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
They like, just oh cool, so we can suffer because the gays are suffering, or we can suffer because Blacks and Latinos are suffering, or we can suffer because of.
And it's like, but ain't nobody suffering over here. Oh, what the fuck are you suffering about, bro? Everything is cool, bro. We good. We are not suffering. I don't see any suffering here. I have not seen one sufferer all day. Maybe a little kid that maybe was suffering from a headache, but that's about it.
Right? Like,
and honestly, I don't like put suffering on my schedule of things to do, once a week.
From somebody who used to be like crazy negative all the time, being negative is
exhausting.
Yeah, being negative is exhausting, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy, and it's a lot. Like,
yeah. I can't be around. I can't fuck with people that be hella negative. I really can't. It really drains me. Like, I'm just like, nah, bro.
Yeah, I didn't realize
for me, over there, bro. I can't even fuck with you like that.
I didn't even realize for me, like, how much it used to take out of me.
Yeah.
Because now I'll go maybe like an hour being upset about something, and then I'll get over it, and I'll use my coping mechanisms and all that fun stuff to like figure it out. But like, I used to be like that for like days.
Yeah.
Like, days.
Yeah. No, and luckily, that happens to a lot of people. You're not the only one that happens to, but it does. That's just, everybody has a shit they gotta work on and improve on, and they slip and fall in this direction. Life changes you, and this and that. You know what I mean? But like, as long as you're conscious and aware of the work that you need to put in the areas that you need to put them in, and I don't believe that suffering should be a choice, that like a thing that you want to do, like, or make other people suffer. That, especially that, like, if you gonna suffer, bitch, you need to do that shit the fuck over there. You know what I mean? I don't want to suffer today.
Like, y'all need to get out of my face.
Yeah, for real. But no, that's a really deep, like, longer conversation that we'll definitely have in a later episode, more about like the choices and, mental health for sure. I think is a huge one that you've been wanting to talk about. So we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. All right. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's see what they're talking about.
And redistricting, and obviously this is what Prop 50 is about. But Republicans will say, "Oh, this is the Democrats cheating, et cetera," right? This is not at all what the Democrats wanted. This was triggered by what they did in Texas. The Democrats have been the ones advocating for fair maps. Can you talk to that? And what would you say to a Republican who says, "Oh no, this is the Democrats cheating," or people in the state of California who think, "I can't vote yes on this because this isn't fair"?
Yeah, so be absolutely crystal clear on this. The only reason we are moving on Proposition 50 is in response to the abuse of power in Texas. Again, at the behest of Donald Trump. And by the way, whether California would have responded to this or not, Republicans were going to stop in Texas. they saw 5 potential seats to
Is
pick
it
up in
me
Texas.
or
But as
like
we've seen in recent days and weeks, they're also looking to redistrict and are
do you
redistricting
feel
in
like sometimes
Missouri and in
you have to
Indiana
use
and
the
in Ohio? They're going to
smallest,
stop nowhere
most
in their
simple words
desperate
to
efforts to
like
cling to
communicate with
power.
people?
What
Like,
California did is start at the very beginning.
we'll
They're
talk about
going
this. I'm gonna write
into
this down
Texas to
because
try
I
to
want
rig the
after this is
system.
done, we're gonna
As much as we support
but
independent
I
redistricting and
feel
all
like
that stuff,
people
the
don't
stakes are
know
simply
what
too high.
words
The
mean
threat
anymore.
of this administration
I
and its
experienced this
impact,
today and
the
it was
devastating impact on working
jarring.
families is too high. We can't sit idly by and just watch it happen. We have to respond. We have to fight back. And so, yes, it took a lot, not just for the California legislature, but Governor Newsom and the California congressional delegation to support this new map and take it to the voters for the voters to decide whether we push back on Trump with Proposition 50. The early polls are good, but as we've said earlier, there's a lot of money that doesn't like what's happening, and there's going to be no less than $150 million, maybe $200 million against Proposition 50, including Speaker Mike Johnson's PAC money coming into California to try to defeat Proposition 50. That's what we're up against. So let me take this opportunity for anybody tuning in. However you can support, if you can't support, we need your support because we're up against a lot of big money who knows that California's move here is the big check against the Trump agenda. So we need your help, volunteerism and activism on the ground, a financial contribution if you can.
Awesome. We'll leave it there. Thank you both for joining. Very much appreciated. I should also note that we are coming up fast on our second milestone of $200,000. So if you have not yet donated, please head over to yeson50live.com.
All right, cut 'em off
I also want to
real
take this
quick.
opportunity to throw right up here on this screen, if I can.
Yeah, well, failing in education. That's a very good point, Andrea. I see there.
Huh.
Katie, what you got to say about that little segment there?
I just, again, agree. I agree that, like, my brain.
Yeah, I saw it melt. That yawn just like restarted you. It's all good. For that, I do think that hope is a little bit kindled here in this, because what I've been saying for a while now is that California does actually have a lot of power in this fight. You know what I mean? If we really decided to like just pull out of funding and all of like the entire country to save the country, we could do that. You know what I mean? We still have good connections with other countries, despite what's going on in our country. You know what I mean? We still have good relationship with other world leaders and all sorts of things. So like I think that other states need to, especially the blue ones, need to hitch their wagon to California. Like the whole West Coast could fuck around and dip out and leave y'all straight up stranded, like if we really wanted to. But
Yeah.
I think that the blue states need to just go ahead, link up, and be on some gangster shit and not play with these people anymore and stop it. And if we gotta leave some of these other people that want to live like that behind, then go ahead and do it. I know this gentleman down here at the bottom. I think it's Harry
Sisson,
something like yeah. And I don't know this gentleman.
It says Rep Ray Reed. He looks like he's 12.
He probably like 32.
I mean, I see college kids nowadays, and I'm like, y'all are babies.
Oh, dude. I mean, I get mistaken for a child all the time. It's insane. Like,
Once I was at
like, can I just like buy this beer? Like,
when
promise.
when I lived in Vegas and my husband taught middle school, we went to see like one of the shows that the kids were doing, and they looked at us, and I had tattoos and stuff, wedding ring, all that. They looked at my husband and I and went, "Okay, one adult, one child." Like, No.
Yeah, like, but I mean, but one thing that happens that I think is really funny is so one time, hey, this is a little fun, like little break from this. Everybody's saying the same thing, but so like I used to bartend, right? And there's like these two women that came in, and I ID'd one of the women, and then I was just like, I mean, I knew they were both above 21. I ID'd one of them, whatever, boo, boo, boo. And but but they were friends, and I didn't ID the other woman. And never make that mistake if you're a bartender. Just ID both people. Don't walk into that one. I thought her friend was her mom. And they're like, actually, the person I ID'd was actually like younger or older than her. And I was like, oh fuck. So needless to say, I did not serve them for the night. I just let my homie take care of that bar seat. So
when I was in college, we used to have this one. There was like 2 rinky-dink bars in like the entire college town. It was a very small college town. We had like 3,200 people in the whole school, and so there were 2 bars. And when I was there, it was when the gas drillers also came up to that area, and so one bar was entirely the gas driller bar. Nobody went there because you'd get hit on or. Ugh. So there was this other bar that was just the college bar. And I think after like 2 weeks after you turned 21, the bartenders just knew you by name.
Yeah, totally.
They're like, hey, Katie, so you want your usual? I'm like, yeah. And then a couple years ago, it burned down because of grease fire.
Oh, no.
Listen, so it had like the world's worst basement. Shout out to Marx Brothers, rest in peace. Like it was a rite of passage to go there on your 21st birthday. But they had this basement that was like such a fire hazard. Half the walls were like off, There was like garbage bags over it. The most gaudy couches.
Jeez, dude. Yeah, that was.
Listen, but we always went there every Wednesday for wing night.
I love
it. They had good wings for like 20 cents a wing at the time. And
wings is like the thought of the day for me. I've been craving wings all day, and I ate them before we got on this live.
And my husband and I had our first date there.
Oh, with next to the trash bags eating wings. Oh.
It wasn't like a date. It was kind of like we both went together, but kind of made it a secret we were with each other. I don't know. It was weird, but we still always will have a special place for the now burnt down Marx Brothers.
Yeah.
And we would go. It was when the Red Sox were in the World Series in 2013. So we didn't have like cable at our apartments. So we would watch it in the bar. And we would watch it in the we'd watch it in the bar, and their closer pitcher was Japanese. So if he won, we would take a kamikaze shot.
Ooh, that's ratchet as fuck, Katie. That's ratchet. I love it.
Anyway, back to these young bucks.
Yeah, I want to see who the black dude is because I've never seen him before.
So what are you hearing from your constituents right now? Are they calling your office? Are they calling friends of yours in states around the country? Like, what's the message that you're hearing most from folks that you represent and just broadly?
More than anything, we're seeing people kind of wake up, even in a red state like Missouri. You know, Republicans, I think, know that they've gone too far. Although they are, let me be clear, Republicans in Missouri and around the country and states like Texas are cowards for bending the knee to Donald Trump instead of upholding the duties of their offices. But we're seeing folks get fired up, get ready to go, mobilizing, putting their names on the ballot, organizing with friends, finding out how they can help with our citizens referendum. we're really seeing something that we haven't seen since, from my experience, 2008, which I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I'm in a different position than you are. I make content online every day, and my comment sections, my DMs, everything for the past couple of months since Texas and Donald Trump started their cheating effort has been filled with, what can we do? How can we get involved? How can we get our representatives to listen to us? And I think you're exactly right that there's this national awakening happening right now. And I'm also really happy to report that I'm even hearing this from Republicans. People in my personal life and online are saying, hey, this ain't right. What Donald Trump is trying to do with mid-decade redistricting is unprecedented and a blatant power grab. And that is exactly why this is so important. And I do want to plug the website. You've heard it many times tonight. It's yeson50live.com. The amazing thing about this website is you can contribute to this effort to help Gavin Newsom fight back, but you can also register to vote. This effort, this Prop 50 does not pass unless people get out there to vote and make their voices heard. So please go to that website. Please donate, register to vote. Do everything that you can. And I know Representative Reed, you know the significance of registering to vote and actually making their.
Sorry, I was just writing something, so I.
Again, he looks so young.
He does. What was his name? I can't. Oh, man.
Ray Reed, RAYREED.
Okay, Ray Reed represent. And where's he at?
It's a great question.
Let's look that up for sure. I like this actually because I'm learning a lot about new people and educating myself. I think that's cool, and we're helping to educate other people, and we ain't suffering out here and shit.
Missouri. He's from Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Which is surprising. Like that's
you. Damn, I see you. Look at that headshot. Okay. Hold on, let's see. Can I share my screen? I think I can. Do you like
probably.
Hold on, let me see if I can real quick.
Yeah, because you shared it last night, I think.
Did I? Oh yeah, maybe I did. Look at him. Oh, cute. Ooh. Ooh, look at him. All cute. Okay. Oh, but you gotta let me remove this one. Oh, it's David Pakman next. So first of all, thank you for being here. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You see this little cutie? I like him. I want to hear more from him too. I'm gonna write him down.
Eric Swalwell's coming on.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and change it over. I gotta represent Ray Reed from Missouri.
But especially when it comes to
I love
really
Eric.
important issues like gun
I do
violence,
too,
where
and
we've
he
seen a
be
conspicuous
cursing
lack
bitches
of
out.
leadership.
I like
So
it.
thank you, Congressman,
He
for
from
taking on
California
these
too.
issues, especially these important issues where other folks
might look
are
all
failing
nice
to
and
step
sweet
up.
and
Looking
shit,
forward to
but
watching you
we
guys' conversation.
really be ratchet
Yeah,
as
my
fuck.
pleasure. And hey, man, I'm so proud of you and what you've built, Brian. We've needed to be in the space that you're in for a long time, and it's making a difference and it's breaking through.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so
David?
much, Brian. Congressman, great to see you.
you
I'll
too.
just say a few things, and then I really want to hear from you. I think a lot of us are here because we just realize instinctively that something is very, very wrong here. We see this unprecedented power grab happening from Republicans, upending centuries of tradition by using force. We're seeing what's happening in Texas. As far as the creator space, I don't remember any time in all the years I've been doing this where independent media has had an environment that is so hostile from the people in power and from the government. They're doing this with regard to what's happening in Texas because they realize, and Trump realizes, if Democrats take the House in 2026, that's it for Trump's agenda. I mean, he instantly is a lamer duck than he already is today. And so if these Republican maps can really control that election, they could end up keeping control of the House, even if colloquially they lose the midterms. And so it's not a coincidence that they've made it clear they're willing to burn down the system if it's what it takes to stay in power. And so I know that's, Congressman, why we on the creator side do this every single day. Right. We know that you and other people are also fighting from inside Washington, D.C. Right. I think the good news is we have here something tangible and tractable. which folks in my audience have been asking for a long time. Is there something we can get involved in? Is there something I can volunteer, donate to today? And I want to hear from you how you see this and how your colleagues see this as an opportunity to not wait certainly until 2028, but also not to wait to have 2026 stolen either.
So I'm going to start where I'm going to end. And I see that the great Martin Sheen is going to join us a little bit later. And I think as a storyteller and an artist, he would agree that that's how you should always tell a story. And the Republicans, they see it the same backward a little bit. Republicans know that on November 4, 2026, when we go to the ballot boxes and marshal all of the support across the country and we win the midterms, they know that it's over. That this era of having masked agents pull our friends and neighbors off the streets and send them to faraway places, it's over. That this era of taking away healthcare from people who need it the most, it's over. This era of doing nothing about
They know
rising
that
grocery
they
prices is over. And the tariffs that the president has put so idiotically on allies of ours who produce so many goods that we need, that it's over. So they know that if Democrats are in the majority, all of that chaos stops. All of that cruelty stops because a couple of things happen. We have the power of the purse. So we decide, how to fund the government. We have the oversight ability to look at everything that they've done. So Elon Musk
Sorry, a
and
little
Doge
social
and
media there.
the data theft that took place and the Social Security numbers that were breached. We look
How dare
at
you.
all of that. And so they know that it's over in a sense. And most importantly, we have the subpoena power. And so they will have to immediately shift from, doing and carrying out this cruel agenda of Donald Trump to thinking about 2028. And one last piece of this, David, I want to point out, our best chance at making sure that there are free and fair elections in 2028, in the next presidential election, is to win the midterms in 26, because it gives us the ability
That's
to
our
have
last
that
chance.
oversight
Okay,
and make
can
sure
we
that they're not
just
doing everything
clear
possible
that?
to steal the election.
Yeah.
Well, this is where people in the audience come in.
Like if we fuck up and don't get to have midterms.
Oh wait, we okay? Then we might as well just pack it up and let the shit go burn all the way down to the ground, because it's inevitable. That's what's gonna happen. So the worse this get, the longer it's gonna take to get out of it. If we can even,
I keep hoping too that okay, it took them.
This has fucked up the next generation after Z. I think
Whatever it is, Alpha, Omega,
yeah, I think this will fuck them up, bro. I think that this is gonna take some generational healing, honestly. This is wild. I cannot believe that my almost 33-year-old ass is literally having to talk about some shit like this right now. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Man, so many things failed in so many fucking ways and I feel like I've never had any control or voice to stop it, even though I seen it coming from years and years and years and years of light years fucking away. That's what frustrates me. It's like, what the fuck? We've been talking about this for forever. And living it, and it don't ever matter what the fuck we say. Now all of a sudden all the boomers want to be like, oh my god, I cannot believe. Bitch, we've been telling you this shit for a while now, and now future generations are fucked up because of it. And I feel bad. We are Charlie Kirk was a millennial, and I feel unfortunate for that, because stop raising your kids like this. Stop breeding this into your family's ideals and thing. How does somebody get to be as hateful as he was? You know what I mean? That shit is somewhat born into you. Or
Something with
I'm here. I just had to
I think something with Charlie Kirk though that we have to remember is I've heard a lot of people talk about how sorry, with Charlie Kirk, apparently behind the scenes he wasn't so what he preached, which honestly just like makes the whole situation even worse.
Yeah, that's like scarier.
That he was basically bought out.
That's some psychopath shit.
And that's what I feel like that is what a lot of these Republicans do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, they're grifters. They don't care. They have no morals. They'll just go wherever the money go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's insane. Like, look at his wife. I wouldn't even know that was his wife. If that was
like when she was talking, I thought like she was trying to eat my soul.
I know. That's why I didn't want to show it on the episode last night like that, because like it was creepy.
Yeah, I just
that's some weirdo shit. And I'm gonna have to do a whole cleansing in my whole entire household.
You gotta get an exorcism.
Yeah. So
you need an old priest and a young priest.
She was like, the evildoers. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, who's next? Let's see who's next. Oh, wait, I have a button for this.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Oh, an actor.
Oh, he looks familiar. Oh, that's cool. I like
Martin Sheen. Let's
jam.
Martin Sheen. Let's go. He was the guy in the top right was in Psych.
Psych. Okay.
And
that's
if you've ever, and this is a really weird.
Who's this guy down here?
I don't know, but if this is a weird flex, have you ever seen the movie Holes with Shia LaBeouf?
Oh my God, he's Sam.
Yep.
Oh my God, I just watched a reaction video to Holes maybe a week ago.
I just watched the Charlie.
I was like, he looks familiar.
I just watched the Charlie Sheen doc on Netflix, so it's interesting to see his dad.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's turn up.
See what they gotta say.
Myself and everybody watching, thank you so much for doing that, and looking forward to the conversation.
Opening the door, it's annoying.
It's great. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. I think it's important for all of us to actively stay involved in any way that we can, because when we take our eye off the ball, we take our eye off the prize, then you see what can happen, and it can happen swiftly. When I saw the results of the election last year, I knew that there would be challenges. I knew that there would be an assault on our liberties, but I could not fathom what I'm seeing now. It really breaks my heart when I see our loss of humanity. I see how we are going to the extremes, and we are lacking the ability to find common ground. I mean, we are 1 year in, and these are trying times. And the only way that I feel that we can even have some type of backstop to this onslaught that is happening is by winning in the midterms. And I truly believe, I'll say to myself often, and I say to others, that democracy works when we, the people, work it. That's how democracy stays alive. And the only way that the best way for us to fight this battle for the soul of our nation, for the character of who we are, is at the ballot box. That's what we have to do. And I truly believe that all things being equal, if we were given the opportunity to freely vote the way we have, then it would be a no-brainer that the Democrats would win. There would be balance put back into the system, and that would be that. But I do believe that also that these extremist politicians are very aware that they cannot win the battle on their merits. They cannot win re-election on their merits. So the same people who a few years ago were crying about a stolen election and supported people who really, acted in a way that was not supportive of our democracy are now actually trying to steal an election. They're not even doing it in the shadows. They're being very overt about
very blatant about it, actually.
Oh, we're the most transparent administration.
What really, I guess, affects me is that
actually,
away the voice of the people.
They are.
It's one thing if
they lie
you're going
so
to do
much
this
that it's
redistricting plan,
transparent.
and you're going to
just
bring it to
believe the
citizens,
exact
bring it to the
opposite of what they said.
That's how democracy works. People talk about it. If you were doing it that way and then the people voted for that, I would have nothing to say. But the fact that they're doing it in the dark
like
rooms
watching
of
Martin
the
Sheen
legislatures across the country, at least in Texas now, and attempting to do it in other places, that is
that
where
John
I think is a
Lithgow?
line too far. And I appreciate what the governor of California is doing, what the legislature here is doing, by giving us the power to have our voice be heard, by giving us a way to be able to stand up for ourselves,
Oh,
and
Martin.
by giving us a pathway to be able to keep our democracy alive. And that's the main reason why I'm here, is to play my part. I always say, if I can get a billion people to move a billion stones,
Charlie Sheen
then we
and
can move a
Emilio
mountain.
Estevez.
And I think in this situation, if we can get people to get involved, to get engaged, to
The other guy
support
is Tim
Yes on
Fullerton.
50 here in California, and to use their voice across the nation,
He looked
I believe
familiar.
the Democrats will get back the House. And at that point, we can put
Was he
some
in
type of
Get
balance
Out?
back into the system, because we've seen what happens
The
when
black
there's
dude?
imbalance.
Yeah.
And right now, it is all out of whack, and there's too much extremism
Yes,
happening
I think
in
he
our
was.
politics right now. So
Can you see
that's
what
why
his
I'm here,
name
and I'm open
says?
in any way I can.
Dual Hill.
Well, thank you, Dule. And it's
Dual
all of
Hill.
that was really well
Yeah,
said.
Dule.
It's a really important thing that you
Dule
mentioned,
with a
which
little
is,
EP.
Texas did this behind closed doors.
That's a
The
good
Trump
movie.
administration
Get Out,
called
by the way.
Governor
Oh,
Abbott
yeah, hella
and
good.
said, I need you to find 5 seats. He actually said it. I need you to find 5 seats for me. And then they did this unilaterally. And I think that that's why it's great that we're doing it, and the way Governor Newsom's doing it is the way to do it, with a people
Yeah, I think
power.
he was a dude that was crying.
And so I want to turn.
No,
so I
it
think
wasn't.
everybody on this call probably would prefer our new next guest to actually be the president of the United States at this
That's right.
moment.
He was
We
a
have
president.
Martin Sheen, who
Because
has
he
I think
was
played a
West
president
Wing.
twice and has
Oh,
been a chief of
Dule was
staff
on
once,
West Wing with
and
him. That's why
actually
they're together.
has been, I
Oh, that's
believe,
funny. Okay.
arrested more times than Donald Trump,
Because he dated
but for very
the
good
daughter
reasons,
on West Wing.
standing
And
up
he
for
was like
what's
his
right. So,
assistant or something.
Martin Sheen, thank you. It is an honor to speak to you. I would love to
Well,
hear
who
from
was
you
the
about
dude that
why
was crying and Get Out like
voting
this?
yes on Prop 50 is so important.
Well, thank. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, good.
Was
Yeah.
it him?
No,
Renee
I don't
left
think
the
so.
room. My engineer
No,
here,
the
and my
one is
daughter
like Daniel.
runs
I
this
can't say his
machine.
last name.
Frankly,
that was the lead guy.
I don't own a computer, and I don't even know how to turn it on if I did have one. So I'm counting on my family here, as Dule well knows. Good to see you again, Dule. Thank you
Always.
for including me in this effort.
Oh,
You know,
that's
I've been
not
involved
him.
in
Yeah, they're different people.
He's such a
supporting
good actor.
liberal politics,
Martin
democratic
Sheen.
politics, specifically with the possible exception of John Lindsay when he ran for mayor in 1965 in New York. I supported him, but also
If you ever
that
get a
same year,
chance, you
I
should
supported
watch The West
Bobby
Wing. It
Kennedy
is
in
really
his
good.
race for the U.S. Senate.
Oh yeah,
And
maybe,
so,
yeah.
this is not.
I think people have called it like the most
unusual
accurate
for me to be involved in
interpretation of
not
what
just
he
in
has
democratic
been like.
politics, but in peace
Also,
and
fun
social
fact,
justice issues, because I can't really separate
in
them.
The West Wing.
And what
oh my God, what's her
our
name?
governor here,
The chick that
in
plays the
California,
lead in Handmaid's
so bravely
Tale,
did
Elizabeth
was
Moss,
to stand up
is
to
Martin Sheen's daughter,
the landslide
and Bradley Whitford,
of,
who's also in Handmaid's Tale, is also
effort
in
and
West Wing
lies that are
with Elizabeth Moss.
that are pulling the Constitution
I'm
and
really
the Bill
weird
of
like
Rights
that. I know
down
random
the tubes.
trivia
And so
and like
our
pop
effort is
culture
to
stuff.
put a stop to
Okay,
it
well, you
and to
join
retrieve
in
as much as
my
we
trivia
possibly can.
team.
I've never
because,
seen it this
every
bad in my
Wednesday.
life, frankly. And we've been watching the opposition to Proposition 50
Stream
on
and
every-
then trivia.
We always know what they're saying. So
Yeah.
we did it. My husband and I did a trivia night the one night at this one brewery in college, and we were the only team to get the question right because the question was, what color was Godzilla in the first 9 movies? And everybody was like, "Oh, it was green. He was green."
Is it like purple?
Gray,
Gray.
because they were black and white.
They were black and white. Oh yeah, that's if I had did they give you options or no? If it was a multiple choice, I would have chose that right.
Yeah,
but,
you had to write the answer.
Yeah.
The only reason I know that is I've seen every Godzilla movie ever.
Yeah, if we were actually just going through that because Niall really likes Godzilla. Anywho, but
I digress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to these guys.
I don't know if any of you saw the exchange between the two of them. It made the national news, but
which one?
That level of a head of the FBI or any of the other agencies
I think
is
it's him and Adam
astonishing to
Schiff.
me. there is no
We got into it.
possible way that any
Like
of these
screaming.
people at the head of any of the cabinet ministries that we have right
Cash,
now would
cockeyed
ever make it
Patel
in
is such a
any other
child.
administration but Donald Trump. And when they look at each other across the room, around the cabinet room, and they look at each other, they don't see anyone on the other side, back and forth, that is better than they are, is more heroic, has more courage. They, in a real sense, I suspect they despise each other because there isn't anyone on the other side that is better than they are. And they are looking at the worst reflection of themselves. And they are reflecting the policy that we're seeing, and that DeLay referred to about the scandalous mass bandits grabbing people off our streets.
I
in
like the
public,
word bandits.
and,
That's a good one.
Disappearing people. And, you know, so often when people are, at least in normal times, you want to call it normal, when people were deported, they usually went back to the country they came from. Now they're being sent.
Right, like
basically they're
Uganda
being
and South
punished because
Sudan.
very
and,
often they're being sent.
like they're
to
just
countries
not
that-
hiding the fact
that
they
have,
want people to die.
You know, they're foreign.
No,
people.
they're
They
not.
don't understand
I
much.
mean, then they don't have to
They are
because nobody's paying them
thousands and
fucking
thousands
attention,
of
or they're
miles
too
away
fucking
from their
stupid to
true home.
understand
So-
it. So
And this has become normal. What we're seeing, we saw that, you know, when the Marines marched through our downtown park, it was literally a walk in the park. There was no reason for them to be there. It is all that we're seeing is a reflection of a strong man trying to get a grip, and it's slipping out of his hands. Chicago stood up and said, no, please don't come here. And we're going to give you every reason why. We don't need you. We've got good law enforcement. We've got good sanitation care here. We've got good health care. You're not needed here. Please stay home. Look after your families and your states. And so we don't have any choice but to go in the direction that we're being called by Governor Newsom. And I dare say, and maybe I shouldn't say this offhand, but I think this move was his declaration for the White House. I think he's going to run, and more power to him, and he will have this to his credit. So I'm urging people that to deal with what we have, not
And
with
at this
what
point, I don't care
we
if
wish
he's
we had
doing all this
or
shit
what
just
we
to look
had in the
good.
past.
It's
but what
helping
we
the country
have now,
But
which
it
is
is
this opportunity.
It's the
to
only.
stop
It's really like
this
our last like
basic
gasp of air for
thievery.
hope.
I
really do
Paine said
believe
the
that.
rights of man are not given by the
I
gracious
think Mom
hand of
Donnie
any
needs
state,
to win, and I
but
think
must be
Gavin
protected
Newsom. I
therein.
think this needs to
And
go
this
through.
is where we have to
And
rise
as
and
many
embrace our
people want
Constitution and
to,
bring us all together
let them
with
file
what
as many
really is at
lawsuits
stake.
as they
We're
want. Don't
facing
pay them a
an
fucking
out of
dime.
control, chaotic
Threaten to take away their money.
madman.
Do
who
whatever you gotta
wakes
fucking
up
do.
every
I don't
day
go.
and thinks of a different level
Trump
of
pays his
chaos,
lawsuits.
and his
He doesn't. So fuck it.
his cabinet members, all the people in his administration pick up the lot and they carry it out, and they are all a reflection of him. But I think we're better than that, and I think we can build a better future, and we can end the chaos and end the despair and the feelings of that we don't have any power left. Look at Chicago. Just this week, the madman turned around and said, well, I guess I'm not welcome there. Let's find, Memphis. Oh, yes, of course, Memphis. I can do well there. Well, let's see what happens. But what Governor Newsom has done here in California has struck a chord. It has lit a candle in this darkness. And I pray and hope that people see what's possible and that we can turn this thing around. And this is one very important issue for the whole country to look at.
Amen.
And to follow.
Hallelujah.
Yes, on 50. Please, God. Yes.
Well said. And
he
for
said
those of
that
you
so
who haven't
well,
donated yet,
so
which I don't know
eloquently.
how you could not donate
He's very
after
articulate.
listening
I
to
like Martin
that,
Sheen a lot.
please go to yeson50live.com.
Can I get the
Push us over
timestamp
the
you put up all the
300,000 mark.
time?
All of this
Oh,
money
it's right here.
is
That's
coming
fine. I'm
from
sorry. I don't have
individuals
any
giving 5,
timestamp.
10,
It just
15,
says
$20. And
Yeah,
we are
yeah,
fighting
yeah.
against
Sorry, I'm
people
dumb.
who are
I
writing
see it.
$250,000 checks, $1 million checks. We are going to win this. And I think
I am
before
definitely
we
getting
go,
more
I just want to
hopeful.
ask one more question for both of you. Is,
Yeah.
you gave us a little bit of hope there. And, I think the West Wing show was something that I watched in high school and then ended up going into politics and worked in the Obama administration and things like that. Leave us with something, Martin, you left us with something really hopeful and powerful. Dule, I want to give it to you the last bit because I know we got to bounce because we've got Congressman Raskin and Congresswoman Crockett on, who, by the way, if we win this ballot initiative, they're going to be the ones subpoenaing, and they're the ones that are going to be asking questions of the Trump administration. So, Dule, I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, I'll say this: the power is in our
Been
hands.
here for a long time,
There's nothing
girl.
that if a bunch of people get together, there's nothing that we cannot overcome.
definitely
I said
wanna
before,
see,
if we
Crockett.
can move a billion stones, then we can move a mountain. And even in these dark times, when the cloud is hovering above, the clouds of extremism, the clouds of hate, the clouds of division, just beyond those storm clouds, the sun is always shining. So if we can just keep preaching, keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep our eyes on the prize, I know that we will be victorious. America always has, America will now today, and America always will in our tomorrow, as long as we stay engaged. So let's vote.
I would only add just very simply that fear is useless. Faith is necessary. Yes, on 50.
Awesome. We'll leave it there. I was
The
trying a
president
bit.
has spoken.
I was going to say, I was trying a bit where I was standing. You can't
Don't
really
even
see
give
this
them a
room, but I
no
was
option.
This building
No.
when the
Yes,
president
all the
stands,
way.
nobody
See.
sits.
No, it's not an option.
Okay.
Sorry, hubby brought me grilled cheese and he didn't want to be on camera.
Ooh, I'm so fucking jealous. I want a grilled cheese. Oh. Hey, Graham, I'm gonna need you to write me one of those. You can eat on camera. Go ahead. We chilling.
No, I am. It's really good.
No, one thing though is I am starting to feel a little bit of a little kindling of hope. You know what I mean? Like this is I'm glad that we caught that it was today, because we may, this is important, and I hope to be able to share this with as many people as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like this Asian dude.
Okay, so we got Adam Mockler. Oh, I love Jamie Raskin. And
Ted Lieu?
Yeah, Ted Lieu.
Uh-huh.
Or let me play it.
Who's Ted Lieu? Is he
now,
California?
you know who Ted Lieu is. So thank you for being an early supporter of this space. And of course, Congressman Jamie Raskin is from Maryland's 8th Congressional District. There is no one more clear-eyed about the threats to democracy than Jamie Raskin. You have been an absolute hero for democracy for years and years and years. I know that if for so many of us watching, if we genuflect at the altar of anyone, it's you, Congressman. So looking forward to your conversation. And Adam, take it away.
Thank you for the kind words, Brian. I really want to pass it over to you guys because you guys will have unique takes on this. But from a really high level, a lot of the conversations I have with Republicans on this turn into this tit for tat on which party gerrymandered more. But it's not that. It's a lot simpler. Never in the history of the United States has a president requested for a governor to enact a mid-cycle
California, former California representative,
in their favor.
36th
This is in
district.
between two census cycles, and this was intentionally done by Governor Abbott so that Donald
So
Trump
in our viewers, Adam Mockler,
Governor Newsom is doing
Jamie
is
Raskin,
three things.
and
It's proportional to what Texas is doing. It's
Ted Lieu
temporary and it's
of
democratic.
California.
It's going up for a
If you
vote, and
didn't
that's
know.
exactly why we're doing this today, so that you guys can help us spread awareness, help us raise more money. And I'd like to pass it over to Representative Ted Lieu. Can you explain the stakes and why it's important to vote yes on Prop 50?
Thank you so much, Adam, and it's such an honor to be here with the amazing Jamie Raskin as well. And I know, Brian, you had mentioned our Twitter early on, so I just want to read this text message on Twitter, direct message, July 1st, 2020, from Brian to me. He says, "Hi, Congressman. I'm wondering if you'd be interested in being interviewed for my podcast and YouTube channel, and you know that you typically get 1 million views. You now have over 4 billion views, so congratulations to what you built." Now, Adam, to answer your question, it is so important, first of all, to support Prop 50, because not only do we fight back against Texas, we do better. Texas created 5 leading Republican seats. California responds, and we create 5 leading Republican seats in this.
I turned it down a little.
There's also an
Yeah,
additional
that's
5 districts.
He was
that are
his
really
audio's
pretty
bad.
tough for incumbents.
Well, and Adams is really
known as
soft.
frontline districts. We strengthen all of them. So this is essentially a map that affects 10 districts. So it actually isn't proportional. It is better. We are fighting back in a better way. And it's also better in the sense that this is the most democratic redistricting ever, because literally the voters are going to be putting the map in.
Representative Brown, can you build on that?
Yes, indeed. Thank you for having me, Adam. Hello to my buddy Brian Tyler Cohen. Hey, the praise comes right back at you guys for what California is doing here. The whole country is looking up to you right now because of what you're doing, showing exactly how to fight back against this extreme, Hunger Games style gerrymander that they've imposed on us in Texas. Ted gives us some reason to be hopeful that we're not only fighting back, we're fighting back in a more nimble and agile way. But let me just say 2 points. One, Adam, relates to what you began with. Some people are saying, well, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And I just don't know whether we should just gerrymander just because they did it. We should rise above it. Okay, now look, I want everybody to be 1,000% clear about this. We have been trying to abolish partisan gerrymandering in Congress for more than a decade. Look at the For the People Act. The very first plank is to delete partisan gerrymandering all across the country and to impose nonpartisan redistricting commissions in every state. And you know who opposed it? Every Republican. And you know who voted for it? Every Democrat. We've been trying to get America out of this nightmare where the politicians choose the voters before the voters choose the politician for many, many years. But the Republicans thrive on the most anti-democratic mechanisms, whether we're talking about voter suppression tactics, gerrymandering, right-wing judicial activism, manipulation of the Electoral College, insurrections and coups, you name it. Okay, so we tried to get out of it. They said no. Then, as you said, Adam, they took us from this every 10-year brutal rugby game, which is partisan redistricting and gerrymandering, again, which is more to their advantage than ours because they control today, it's either 27 or 28 state legislatures in their entirety, and we have, I think, 13 or 14. So they can get a lot more out of it, which is why they're wed to it. But we were conditioned to doing it, okay, every 10 years. Now they're saying we're going to do it every 2 years. We're going to do it in the middle of the decade, just so, as Donald Trump says, we can squeeze 5 more seats out of Texas. Those are our colleagues he's talking about, right? That's like Greg Casar, the head of the Progressive Caucus. That's, Lloyd Doggett, who's a great progressive from Texas who served for several decades, Vicente Gonzalez, Henry Cuellar, Al Green. They're targeting specific people. And you know what? They've already, since Texas, done it in Missouri and Kansas. They went, the other day, they called a special session to eliminate one of our colleagues, the great Congressman Cleaver from Kansas City. And then they're calling one up in Kansas to go after Sharice Davids. So
I had a comment from
they
someone.
are absolutely dead set on doing this. Now, some
I
people
like
think,
Jamie Raskin
well, the
too,
moral
and I
thing,
was
the principal
actually
thing is to
silent
just
there for a
let
while
them
because
do
he
it,
was,
and we'll
really
stick to
spitting
the
some
fair redistricting
education
we've
for
got in
all of us to
California,
pay
whatever.
attention to.
Nonsense.
That's
There's
why I
nothing
appreciate
moral
him, constitutional
laying
scholar,
down and
so
letting
he studied
authoritarians
the
roll all over us
Constitution,
so
and
they can gerrymander our
he
elections
always
and
is
control our
educated
government
enough.
in perpetuity. On the contrary, every principle of political morality demands that we do whatever we can to fight within the existing rules that they have set up in order to win. And we're going to win next year. We're going to do it. And I just want to say one more thing about California, because our oldest daughter is now living out in California, and I'd like to come out and visit my friends out there. And I woke up one morning, I realized I just woke up in a state that has, I think it's 41 million or 42 million people. Okay. And I looked it up. There are 20 states, the 20 smallest states have less population than California. So you wake up in California, you've got 2 U.S. senators, 2 fine U.S. senators, but people waking up in all of those other states, Nebraska, Rhode Island, Iowa, South Dakota, Kansas, all those states together have 40 U.S. senators with less population than California. They have 38 more senators than you. So there's already a major structural imbalance that's built into the
that's
fabric
insane.
of the Constitution. But I want to salute the people of California who have found a way to have profound importance and significance in the congressional elections in 2026, just by fighting back against all of the tyrants and authoritarians who think that they can steal elections from us. I yield back to you, Adam.
Some
Nice.
great points, Representative.
Okay.
Preston. Amazing points. If you want to help
Love
us fight
that.
back, go to
That was good.
yesonfiftylive.com. And
Let me-
one of the most
we
crucial
should
points
take
to
down
make
a
is that when
timestamp on
Democrats
that.
were in power,
Where'd
we
my
tried
pen go?
two times to ban gerrymandering nationwide. Republicans blocked it. Then when they got into power, they decided to enact the most aggressive, the most radical redistricting we've ever seen, where they splice up targets.
I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far.
They want to
Please
rig it.
like, comment,
Hypothetically, but if you
share,
go to
share, and subscribe. This is important shit.
yesonfiftylive.com and donate.
and
Representative Lou,
let's
can I ask you one
educate our
final question here?
communities.
One of the
Jamie
reasons
Raskin
why
is,
I think
was
people are
also a
really getting
history
behind this
teacher
movement
or
is not
professor
only using the mechanisms
too,
we
so he
have
knows
to
his
fight
shit.
back against
Yeah, no,
authoritarianism,
constitutional
but
scholar.
also just being assertive
Literally,
as Democrats and fighting
studied
back
the
after it
Constitution.
feels
Yeah,
like the
I
past
was just
decade,
mentioning that
Trump
to her
has
on
Oh,
here.
we have our most
gotten
viewers
one
right
over
now.
on us.
3
What do you think
people.
about
Woohoo!
Democrats
Oh
being really
snap!
aggressive,
Look,
going out
look
there
at
and
us.
really
We out
fighting
here
back?
popping.
We actually should, and Prop 50 gives us that chance to
Oh my
do
god,
so.
his audio is
This is
terrible.
not something that's next year or
Thanks,
3
girl.
years from now. This is literally
Got you.
in less than 2 months. And you can affect what's going to happen in the Trump administration in less than 2 months simply by donating to yesonfiftylive.com. You can also do phone banking. You can go walk door to door, but you can take action right now to fight back against authoritarianism that
The
we're
cat
seeing in the
keep
Trump
opening the
administration.
door.
And you know, do want to end on some words of hope. I watched the last panel ending on some words of hope. So when I served active duty in the U.S. Air Force, I was at Maxwell Air Force Base in
Jamie
Montgomery,
Raskin looks
Alabama. There's a
mad right now.
beautiful Rosa Parks Museum there.
He's like
And I
shaking.
encourage all of you to visit if you ever go to
I mean,
Montgomery.
he has every
And I was
reason
on
to
their
be.
post last time with
Shit,
the amazing
people
John
are
Lewis.
fucking straight
I
up
remember
tripping right
finishing
now.
the Tour
Like,
Museum and
I can't
thinking,
imagine having that
Rosa
fucking
Parks
job.
would not have been surprised
Bro, tell us how
by
you're feeling.
the
What's going
Trump
on with the head of
administration.
yours?
I
or
know, for
President
real.
Trump.
I am a little
Experienced
curious.
horrors in her lifetime, but she never could have imagined Barack Obama winning the presidency twice. She never could have imagined Vice President Kamala Harris, and she never could have imagined where we're going to go next year, which is Speaker Hakeem
Buffos.
Jeffries. And that happens if you support Yes on Prop 50
I'm
Live.
sorry. Can somebody else run for speaker besides him in the Democratic Party?
Awesome.
Because
Thank you all so much.
Hakeem
Appreciate
Jeffries
everybody
is
being
not
here.
doing it for
And
me.
I should note
He is giving me
we
weak
are
sauce,
just minutes away
like,
from passing
like
$300,000 in this Yes on 50 campaign.
flavorless
A quick note for
rice
those who are
pudding.
I
He giving me a can of peas. That's how much.
did he endorse Zoran yet?
No, I don't know.
I know that.
Who
I know
cares?
the governor of New York did. So like, I don't understand why all of these other Dems are like, I guess I'll wait it out. I cannot like the way that I cannot stand the way that Hakeem Jeffries talks.
He is just full of shit, honestly. Like, he's just like, I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatever, but like, he just has no energy. He's boring as fuck, dude. Like, I wouldn't even want to go out and have lunch with him because I just feel like I fall asleep. I would have more fun by myself, you know?
But like
that's the type of energy he gives. Like a nothing burger.
But like Hakeem, he knows what the people they want. Like that's how he talks.
I know, right? Like
it's like, bro, maybe it's my ADHD brain, but it's like, bro, it's like, bro, I don't need to wait an hour for you to get your fucking sentence out.
Your nothing burger sentence that literally was a waste of time. Because I mean, I don't want a speaker of the House that is a waste of time. Okay, if you're not gonna give me anything of substance or of interest or bring anything to the table, then you can just stay at home. And I'd rather not have to sit through one of your speeches because they're useless to me.
What? So that's one thing about like the House of Representatives and the Senate that I don't really get is like, so I know there's a majority speaker of the House. There's like a minority, but like, what the hell does the minority do? Because right now it just kind of seems like they
need to start having more opportunities for people like, who did we mention at the jump? Robert Garcia, was it
Jasmin Crockett?
No, but I mean like, just like some of the new ones we just heard from. Rep Robert Garcia. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget.
Speaking of the Queen.
There we go.
She is a badass, a
Yes, she
fighter,
is.
an attorney, one of the most dynamic and interesting and
love her
engaging
so
voices that
much.
we have on the left. Could
Like,
not be
comment,
more
share,
excited to listen to
subscribe.
the conversation here.
If I ever meet her, I'm gonna give her a hug.
Thank you, Brian. Well,
now she knows.
Congresswoman Crockett, it sure seems like everyone's got something to say about our home, now don't they?
Oh, she's
for good reason
Texas,
though.
too.
It is a hot ass mess. But I am so thankful for California, and not only for the leadership, real leadership that we need in this moment, but also for the people. You know, this is something that is going to be people-led, people-driven, and ultimately the people will decide. And with everything that I've seen about the pushback that we are delivering to this regime that is currently in power, I am believing that the people of California are woke enough to know that it is time to fight fire with fire. And what that means for those in the back that don't understand my language, what that means is that if Texas is going to redistrict and gerrymander and also silence the voices of Black and brown communities, that California will also make sure that they give more voice to their constituents in the form of Prop 50. And so this is just in response to make sure that those bad policies that they are currently signing up for, that they actually have some accountability, because that's what democracy looks like. The final thing that I'll say, so that you can go on with your question, is that today was very interesting. It's always interesting on the Hill or a hot ass mess, either way you want to look at it. But nevertheless, so we're there and we were voting on a rule for a bill. And I was like, what's taking so long? Because I was ready to go debate the next thing. I just knew it was going to pass. They were going to vote it. But it wasn't passing. And in fact, this rule was going down and there were like 6 Republicans that voted with the Democrats. So I was like, well, who are the 6 Republicans? Well, of the 6, I think 3 or 4 were out of California. So we can see that even the threat of actually holding them accountable has made them start to shift how they're voting. In fact, they were able to get enough to switch over so that they could go ahead and pass the rule. But one of the loudest kind of upset people, Kevin Kiley, he did not change his vote because he plans to run. He knows it's going to be an uphill battle. And now he believes that he should be held accountable for how he votes. But my question is, bro, where have you been?
Mm-hmm.
You should have been voting in the interest of your constituents anyway. So I'll just leave it there. Right now, even without this thing going to the ballot, they are having an impact.
Well, I'll say this, behind me, I
Okay,
have portraits of Ann
Gallup.
Richards and Barbara Jordan. And if you're watching and you don't know who they are, look them up. And it's because of women like this, women like you. I'm glad that you're on my side, because I was at the public redistricting hearings that were held here in Texas about these maps. I was at the one at the state capitol and I was at the one in Houston. And so I sat through 10 hours of public testimony from Texans all over this state who sat there and begged for our Republican lawmakers to have a conscience and to do the right thing. And they sat there, and I'll be honest with y'all, they didn't care. They didn't care. They had made their minds up before they walked into that room. And I think that you are the most uniquely positioned person in the country to really give people insight into what the Texas legislature looks like, what Congress looks like, and what this means for the rest of the country. Because not only are you a member of Congress from Texas, you had your district redistricted, but you were also a member of the Texas legislature. So what is the big picture here that people may not be understanding, and why is Texas so important in this conversation?
Yeah, that's a very good point. First of all, my favorite organization is the Heritage Foundation.
Hey, bruh, is like,
and usually I feel like Texas,
you ain't coming with us and dragging us down.
Every single bad type of legislation that they want to try out throughout the South. And so this is no different, right? As it's already been laid out by my colleagues, that they started in Texas, but they were definitely never planning to end in Texas. And if anybody believes that there's something that California did that made them say, well, now we've got to do more, no. This was always their plan. The plan was to start in Texas, but then it was to move on to Missouri. It was to move on to Indiana. They even were trying to go after Clyburn in South Carolina. They're planning to go after Florida. They are trying to do this any and everywhere that they think they can get away with it. And so they wanted to test it out in Texas. That's number one. Number two, we literally have people that are elected to office that are supposed to represent the interests of the people that put them into office. And as we both sat through hearings, because I attended more than one hearing myself, you know, it was interesting to have Representative Vasut, who was leading those field hearings and leading the redistricting. My classmate to the Texas House pretend that he had no recollection of anything that took place in 2021. Now, listen, I've never professed to have the best memory, but I can remember like yesterday being on the floor, arguing with the Republicans, telling them that we had grown the state by 95% people of color. So the idea that we got 2 new seats because of the growth that Texas experienced, where we added over 4 million people over the last decade once we completed our census, and ultimately we got 2 new Anglo seats. That's that Republican math. That is that Republican math, right? Yeah. These were Anglo majority seats that they ended up creating. And they're just like, yeah, okay, it worked out. We added 180,000 Anglos in a decade. Each congressional seat is 766,000.
That's just straight up.
You tell me, in fact, that is a microcosm of what they are doing right now. You tell me how 180,000 people end up with 2 seats where they are the majority and the seats are 766,000 people. That is what they are doing. They are not only doing Donald Trump's bidding, but it's at the expense of so many communities that have already been disenfranchised. Texas has over 4 million African Americans, more African Americans than any other state. We had 5 African Americans that had been elected to Congress. When Colin Allred ended up running for the Senate, he was replaced by a non-African American, which is perfectly fine. We then ended up down to 4 African Americans, okay? Now what they're saying is we're gonna cut that into 2. You'll only have an opportunity to elect Al Green or whoever wins the 18th. And really what they're trying to do is set it up to where it's most likely me or Mark Vesey in the Dallas area. So you explain to me how on God's green earth, in a state in which Anglos were not growing at all, and we know that if we look at which group has the vast majority, not the vast majority, but has the plurality of representation, it's actually Latinos in the state of Texas. Latinos have the largest demographic in the entire state. Do they have the largest demographic of opportunities to elect people to Congress? Absolutely not. In fact, we are a majority minority state. We are 60-40. Yet somehow, after these maps were done, we're looking at having less minorities being able to choose their representation. So I want to say that this is bigger than my state, your state. This is about us as the United States and what it is that we are fighting for. There is only one side that is willing to stand up to this regime. There is only one side that is willing to conduct investigations. There is only one side that is willing to hold their incompetency and their feet to the fire. There's only one side. And so while people haven't started to feel the effects of being kicked off their health care, they're about to. while people may not have fully felt the effects of the increases in their utility bills, thereabouts.
When we start
while people already know that these tariffs are already hitting pretty hard, to the extent that they are shutting down our small businesses, and our farm bankruptcies are up 55 or 58%. Don't remember which one. Already, our farmers are filing for bankruptcy. Yo, like, we are in a crisis, and it is because the Republicans don't have a backbone. So it's time to make sure that we show them that the Democrats are ready to fight. So that means that California, we need you in this moment. We need your dollars. We need your time. And we absolutely need your vote.
Yeah, and I'll close this out with this. In a perfect world, we don't have to do mid-decade redistricting. In a perfect world, partisan gerrymandering is banned. But also in a perfect world, women aren't losing their ability to have children because they're going into sepsis. And children in Texas are having books banned in their schools. These are the things that would happen in a perfect world, but we don't live in a perfect world. We live in reality. And so if you're not sure if you're voting on this for you in California and how this benefits you, well, it benefits a lot of people, and it benefits people like me, young people who live in Texas, where this is our reality every single day. And so you have a chance and an opportunity to not just set yourself up and your future for success, but for young people like me in this state of over 30 million people who just want the chance to build our own American dream.
Okay, yeah, that's so fine and dandy, but I'm gonna need y'all to get y'all shit together, because California can go ahead and do the right thing and actually leave y'all on the fucking curb, because y'all are dragging us into some bullshit. So I'm tired of being California Captain Save-A-Ho with you people. Okay, so why don't you start voting for your shit to be better and stop voting these fuck asses into office and stop with this shit, because we are not here to save everybody in the goddamn world, and that seems like what it is. And then y'all come over here hating. So like, fuck that, man. I swear, one more time to help you motherfuckers. If you don't get it together, I ask California, we gotta go, bro, because y'all are not dragging. Y'all ain't gonna kill me, because fuck that. So what do you think, Katie? I'm very passionate about that.
I had said it before about like when the Pod Save bros were talking, and I had said we should have gotten on the ball way before this.
Yeah.
Because like this is almost too little too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, again, ooh, Jack. I like Jack.
He's tall.
He's tall.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe, like, he just graduated college. He does not look that young.
I know. A little weird. I feel like I look younger than he does.
Right. I think it's just a guy thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, men look older. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, let's go and see what he got to say. But yeah, no, I feel it. Like, I feel like we kind of been way beyond the point of return.
Maxwell Frost, I like him too.
Is that the next generation of Democrats, which I hope we see start to happen in a big way in 2026, that they look a lot like you. So thank you for being fearless. Thank you for being outspoken. Thank you for being a leader, not just among folks in your generation, but in the party more broadly. So go ahead. I'll let you guys take it away from here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. You're an inspiration to us all. And maybe we're breaking a little bit of news here. I think I said this in our last interview, but I am with my member of Congress. So that makes me very excited. We know the facts of this case. We know the facts of what's happening right now with this administration.
Where is he from?
We are seeing a rise in a crisis of affordability. That's a fact. There's more law breaking under this administration than ever before. We know it's a fact that Donald Trump, Greg Abbott, they want to disenfranchise Black and brown voters around the country. But I want to talk about feelings real quick. Congressman, how would you feel to make this guy right here very, very, very sad? How would that make you feel? Because I think that's important.
Yeah, I think it is really important. People know it make me feel amazing. And this is actually part of the reason we need to win the majority, because I promise you that one of the first people to receive a subpoena will be Stephen Miller.
Hell yeah.
This guy is one of the most evil people, not just in government, but in this country.
On the planet.
And we need to hold him accountable.
In the universe.
I
And
can't wait to
suits,
watch
they
him
just
burn.
they don't fit at all. He
Oh,
looks
that
terrible. I think it's
motherfucker
because
is
like the fabric
absolutely
is repelled by him. Like there's just
disgusting.
got to be something
He's
about
not
Stephen
human.
Miller. I also just looking at
Voldemort,
him.
whack
We don't
ass,
need to like
Voldemort looking
trash him
ass.
personally, but I think we can. I bet he just doesn't smell great either. But of course, Republicans aren't just focused on Texas. This fight has spread, or I guess it's not a fight. We're taking on the fight. What they're doing is a little bit different, but we certainly know that it wants to spread across the country. Ron DeSantis, certainly someone not
Maxwell Frost
new
has
to
been
falling in line with Donald Trump and getting embarrassed because of it. How are we going to make sure that this is a tone-setting moment in California, telling the rest of Republicans across the country, hey, if you, I don't want to say it, you fuck around, you find out.
Well, yeah, and for people who don't know, of course they're moving forward with Texas.
Getting a little dark.
They're trying to figure out other places they can do this as well. They're moving forward with this in Florida as well. And we have polled it across the entire state. Democrats, Republicans, independents come out when they're asked, are you in favor of the state of Florida redistricting to help Donald Trump get a majority? They say no. Every single time.
And again,
and so part of what we're looking to do in our state is make sure that people understand what they're trying to do. And you brought up DeSantis.
Or else.
A lot of people don't know this. DeSantis
You know
and
what I
Trump
mean?
hate each other. Donald Trump hates Ron DeSantis.
Over.
And what Ron DeSantis
Hold on,
is trying to
hold
do
on.
is he's about to not be the governor of
He was
Florida
just
anymore
saying
next
how
year.
DeSantis
He's going to
and
be
Trump-
Go ahead and rewind it. I'm
he's
sorry for
not an
talking
elected
over it.
official,
You
but
can
he really
plug
wants
it
to
back
run
to
for
Steven.
president. And he
Good
knows
to
he
go.
can't win that Republican primary
But
without
they were-
Donald Trump's help. So he has turned into Donald Trump's lapdog, that Donald Trump
They're talking about how DeSantis and Trump actually hate each other.
Oh yeah, that's been known. I mean, even before
relevant.
like
And that's
this-
why we see all
this
these things from
second
redistricting,
election,
even
they
the
did not like each
Everglades
other.
detention facility, the internment camp, Alligator Alcatraz, all this stuff he's doing because the dude wants to run for president. He has no juice. Nobody likes him, even in his own party.
He does not have the sauce. Have you heard his voice? Have you seen his boots?
He is burnt toast, no
And so
butter.
this is what's going on in the state of Florida. I want to make sure people know. Jasmin brought it up. I always tell these people, Project 2025, all this stuff everyone's seeing now, that's Florida 2020. Okay, this stuff that they're trying across this country, they've been doing in the South for a long time. They passed the big, beautiful bill for billionaires, the largest transfer of wealth from the working class to billionaires, the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer,
Florida
working class
2020
getting poor as well. They know they can't win the election because people are pissed off about it. In fact, Donald Trump sent his top people to Capitol Hill to tell the Republican Party, hey, you got to stop calling it the Big Beautiful Bill Act because it's so unpopular. We got to rebrand it. Bro, you named it the Big Beautiful Bill Act. You have the word beautiful in there. The facts of the matter are so bad that people don't like it, even your own party, and now they're trying to figure out how to change it. It's so unpopular. They know they're going to lose. And so they want to cheat. They want to cheat because they don't want to lose. And that's what's going on right now.
I call it the big booty butt.
And they're also
cheat bill.
terrified because they know that we do have a bit of hope. And of course, the momentum is mounting. I want to talk about not just what we'll do when we do, in fact, win the House back, but the successes that you've already had. You brought up what Stephen Miller and all the rest of those goons like to call Alligator Alcatraz. Of course, you made a big move there that I want you to talk about, and maybe we keep it open or reopen it for Stephen Miller. I don't know, in a couple of years. But can you talk about how we're still winning right now and what that means for when we actually do have the House back?
Well, something that I always told organizers when I was on the front lines of Black Lives Matter, and that I think about a lot now as a member of Congress that doesn't have all the seats we want, is when you don't have all the power you want, you use all the power you got. And one of the most important things we can do right now as elected officials is use our powers of oversight, especially as it relates to this, what I would say is a campaign of terrorism on our communities, of going in and kidnapping people and human trafficking them to other countries and other states. And when this facility was open, not just myself, but many other representatives across the state of Florida pulled up and said, we want to go in to see what's going on. And we didn't just do that, we coordinated with a lot of the people engaged in lawsuits. And we were able to find out, what information do you need from the inside? What can we get? We went in there and we got it. I went a second time and spoke with people who were being detained there and got even more information. Many of us did declarations. Some of us served as witnesses in the federal case. And many of you saw that we got that place shut down. A judge came out about a week ago and reversed that. It's going to be back and forth in court. But as of right now, that facility is not operating because of the work of the organizations that filed the lawsuit, but because elected officials said, you know what? We have privilege, we have positions of power. How can we use that to support organizers? How can we use it to support this lawsuit to shut the place down? DeSantis is opening up another one in North Florida, and guess what? I'll be pulling up to that one as well. We got to do everything we can in this moment with what we got. And I'm really proud of that, what we did with Alligator Alcatraz, because I think it shows what happens when elected officials work with organizers, work with the people on the ground. We're not going to win 100% of the time, but sometimes we will win. And it feels good to win. And like it's going to feel good on election day at the end of this year when California passes this.
Absolutely it is. And if you want to make sure that happens, go to YesOn50, the number 50live.com, YesOn50 Live. And I want this segment, Maxwell, you and I, to have raised the most. I don't know if that's Brian's going to tell me those numbers later, but I'm going to make the point of saying this is the person.
No, just dance pants.
Oh, damn. So yeah, I really, again, I just have to emphasize like these young voices that are ready to step up for leadership, that have already been stepping up for leadership. So like, shout out to Representative Maxwell Frost for doing the good work. You know what I'm saying? And actually doing something tangible, something that you can like use to, stepping stone into some sort of way out of this, another rung on the ladder, or however the fuck you want to imagine it. But like, it's just, I mean, if you want people to have hope and faith and all this, you gonna have to give people something to hold on to. Okay, I'm not gonna just sit here and just have hope because of your well wishes. Okay, and that's what I feel like has been going on with our side of this fight. Like I'm not gonna
a bit, yeah.
Oh God, oh jeez, oh he showed us Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller looks like a mixture of Nosferatu and Voldemort.
Yeah.
Like, if they had a love child, and by love child I mean hate child, it would look just like that.
Well, Voldemort, for little Harry Potter mythical lore, he was conceived through love potion, so that's why he didn't have the ability to love. Yeah, because he wasn't with it.
Girl, I know that. Please.
Yeah.
Did you ever read
Nerds?
Did you ever read Cursed Child?
I did. It's trash. I hated it.
Oh boy. And here we go.
Oh, yes. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We got hot representative. Speaker.
But your embrace of this space has made all the difference. So so very much appreciate that, and looking forward to your conversation.
Is she related to Cory Booker?
Thank you, Brian.
Thank
you so much, Brian. Well, hello, House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries. How are you doing this evening? Good, Elizabeth. Great to be with you.
Wow, you said
nice
more
to talk
than
with you
4
too.
words.
And this is not the first time we've interacted. As a lot of folks know, I also wear a hat as one of the Congressional Black Caucus creators. So I'm always excited to talk to our amazing CBC members, and especially when it comes to an issue like this. And so, folks, I'm just going to go ahead and put it at the top before we start into the interview. YesOn50live.com to donate. So if you are liking this conversation, I want you to go over there and donate. Remember that the Republican Party is strange, so drop us some change. If you want to make Trump holla, go give us $1. That's what you need to do. Okay. So let's get into this conversation. I want to talk about what's going on with gerrymandering in all of the states and why it's extremely important to tackle this issue and why California is so important. So I know that Missouri State Representative Ray Reid was on earlier tonight on the live, and I covered a lot of what was going on in the Missouri House, where they were trying to do a sit-in to stop the gerrymandering there.
What's her name?
And so it's not just Texas. It's not just Missouri. We see that this is an issue that Republicans are spreading everywhere to steal seats.
Maybe not.
Leader Jeffries, tell me, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, this is an all hands on deck effort. I'm so thankful
for the leadership of the California congressional delegation, Governor Newsom, the legislative leaders, members of the California legislature, the people of the great state of California for rising up to respond. What we're in the midst of right now is unprecedented effort by Donald Trump and the extremists to gerrymander congressional maps all across the country as part of their effort to rig the midterm elections. Why are they doing it? Because they know that if the votes go to the people in a free and fair election, they're done. They're finished. They're cooked. The majority is gone. And so they've embarked in this unprecedented effort to try to mathematically stop
a train could drive
as
through
Democrats,
the spaces
more importantly,
in the sentences.
stop the people from throwing them out of office because of their failure to deliver on their core promises of making life better for the American people and lowering the high cost of living. And instead,
Bro, at least
what
it's
they've
still
done
light
is
where
to
you
rip
are.
healthcare away from everyday Americans, steal
It is
food from
pitch
the
black
mouths
now.
of children, and in the context of
Always
their
said
one big ugly
California always
bill,
late to the party.
enact massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors. So they know they've got zero track record to run on. They are
No, you can
actively
go
doing
ahead and wrap
harm
up.
to the American people,
Fine.
and they only have a 3-seat majority.
That's all they have. And that's why they're trying to steal these extra seats. That's why they're trying to pull them up. And so we know what's going on with Prop 50 here in California is to basically counteract what was going on in Texas. And I did have the opportunity to be on the ground in Texas, in Austin, and covering what was going on with the redistricting there to snatch up 5 seats. And so we see that Governor Gavin Newsom is trying to counteract that by taking away 5 Republican seats in California. And I don't consider that cheating. I consider that trying to even the scales, because the Republicans started by cheating. They started by trying to steal. And so now we see that the Democratic Party is trying to bring that balance back and properly represent the people. Because as you said, Leader Jeffries, things haven't gotten cheaper. They said that life was going to get cheaper. They said that they cared about children. They were the pro-life party. But as you pointed out, they've cut health care. They have cut SNAP benefits for children. They have not made good on any of the promises that were part of that campaign. And we're seeing this pushback, not just here in California. I think it's important for us to talk about how this is also going to set a standard for other blue states and governors in blue states. I had the opportunity to interview Governor Wes Moore, who was my governor in Maryland last week. And he said he is ready to redistrict and get rid of the 1 Republican congressional seat that we have here in Maryland. How important is Prop 50 right now, not just for California, but for setting the stage for other governors like Wes Moore and other states who are trying to push back?
It's a great question. We are in a more is more environment.
They don't deserve
and one thing builds upon the next. And so we started in Texas, and I'm thankful for the Texas Dems in the state house who had the courage to break quorum.
In my words.
And I visited them in Texas before they left, and then spent time with them in Chicago during the quorum break. And part of the reason that they took that extraordinary action was so that they could raise awareness about this national gerrymandering scheme that Republicans were engaging in to try to rig the midterm elections and to inspire action in other places. And then the baton was passed to California, which is why it's so important. Yes, on Prop 50, stop Trump from stealing the election. And what the people of California do, we've got to win this race. We need the resources. Republican mega billionaires who want to buy this country.
That's how you know somebody doesn't give a fuck.
No, Leader Jeffries, hold on, because they said they were for the people. Are you telling me they're for the billionaires? Because that doesn't sound like what Trump and them were promising, though.
I mean, they lied. This
Bro,
is what they
I don't
do
care what the
for a
fuck
living.
you say.
This is not
Do
a government,
something.
a country of the people, by the people, and for the people that Republicans are delivering. It's of the billionaires, by the billionaires, and for the billionaires. We saw it on day 1 of his presidency. It was like a super villain convention that was gathered in the Capitol. It was insane. And then they embarked on this scheme, the one big ugly bill, to reward their billionaire donors by taking from everyday Americans, including
instead of letting him sit here
so that's why,
and do this,
it's going to
because
be
this is a waste of time
for us to decisively
and this is the type of shit
California
that does not convince
that whatever has been done in Texas, and we're challenging those maps.
So join the movement.
Because we believe those maps violate
he should not have been invited.
Amendment of the Constitution, as well as Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, because what they did in Texas, these Republican extremists, is to racially gerrymander. And it's important to note that what you're supporting in California in Prop 50 is a forceful response, but it's also a response consistent with our values, because the California map that will be before the voters is in complete compliance with the Voting Rights Act.
It's not any sort of racist practice.
They
it's not
are
discriminatory in any kind of way based on an immutable trait.
First of all, dude, they're not complying by any fucking rules.
Sorry about that.
They are not complying by any fucking rules at all. So you can sit up there in your protective space or whatever and talk 2 words a fucking minute. But until you actually do something to fight back, shut up.
Yeah, seriously. He's like, honestly, this is what turns people off right here. I think they need to stop fucking around with these people in a Democratic Party that just drag us all the fuck down with their messaging and all their shit and all their cowardice and all their just lackluster energy and fight. Like, they are not, they're actually hindering us in a time where we need to be really about it. If you ain't about it, then just sit down. Go over there. You know what I mean? You can help us do something after we figure this shit out, you know?
Do you notice how he never answers a question?
He doesn't.
Like, I would have more respect for him if he just flat out said, no, I'm not going to endorse Zoran.
Yeah, I would.
Not this, well, we still have to meet a few times, and we need to meet. And maybe.
Meet what? If or what? And why? What about anything that you see right now do you need more convincing?
He will not support Zoran because Zoran does not support AIPAC.
Well, he need to go. He really do. Like, because, or he needs to just shut the fuck up because he's really not helping anybody. And we could just throw him over on the enemy lines. He might as well just go ahead and be outright with the MAGA people at this point because he's detrimental to this. I don't know why they would bring his ass on here.
Because it's because he's the minority leader. That's the only reason.
Right. But like, he's completely useless to us right now. So
he doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Literally.
Like, between him and Cory Booker, like, grow a fucking spine.
I know.
I mean, not at least, but look at the puppy. Oh my goodness, he looks like my puppy I used to have.
Aww. Look at those little earsies are so cute.
Oh my goobers. He looks like a little old man though.
Yeah,
right,
that's
what's he saying? We're making our way up to 500 grand right now. So if you have not yet donated,
how many more speakers do you think we have? Who haven't we seen? Do you have the list pulled up?
In just a couple of hours here.
I don't know. Is this going to be like a marathon?
Yeah, I ain't seen them for them. Well, look up. Let me see.
Yep, I'm looking. Okay. We haven't seen A.B. Burns, Tucker.
Oh, I like her. I like her a lot.
Hold on. We saw him. I don't know who this is. Lysandra Vasquez.
Don't know who that is.
Okay, we saw them. Okay, here we go. That's the lineup. Politics girl, we haven't seen. I'll put her back on.
Veteran organizer and nationally recognized advocate for civil rights and social justice.
Chris Goldsmith.
And of course, you know, we ask you to yet again take up the mantle of fighting as we find ourselves in the position that we find ourselves in right now. So I'll leave it to both of you. Take it away.
I'm here for it. Lysandra, how you doing?
Kimball.
Hi, thank you so much for being here with me.
Looks like we have
Representative,
Lysandra
I wanted to ask you about
Yes.
the gerrymandering stuff first.
Oh,
but
that's
you know what?
rich.
Everybody's pretty much covered that. I want to talk to you
So there's,
about
like, only a
your
couple left.
district. Your district is in Northern California, and it is
At least
extremely
on here.
special because
No, Cory
it
Booker's
is
not on here
Oakland.
anymore.
I lived in California for 13 years.
So we might be near the end of
So
this.
I know Oakland,
Yeah,
I
I
know
think
Berkeley,
so.
I know that area, and I know it's extremely diverse.
Yeah.
With your district being up there and the increase
he's from
of the
Oakland.
dangerous rhetoric for Black and Brown
Lysandra?
people and for immigrants.
The one on the right.
I know that impacts your
Yeah.
community just so much, just as it impacts the rest of the country. So in times like this, I feel like we need to come together. And with what's going on, it feels kind of hopeless for us, the Black and Brown folks and anybody that's marginalized. Why do you think that people of California, of the
You look
Bay,
familiar.
should be getting up and literally anywhere in California should be getting up and voting yes for Prop 50?
I appreciate, first of all, it's so awesome to meet you. It's amazing to be on this call tonight. I'm actually not hopeless. I actually have a lot of hope because we have this opportunity with Prop 50. I'm a new member of Congress. Many folks know that, for 30 years, literally since I was a young woman, a teenager, I've been organizing all over California and throughout the country, repping for young single mothers like I was one. I am a widow, I'm disabled. And as a Black woman who understands really the intersectionality of how we all move forward, Prop 50 is an opportunity. And I want to be clear. This is not politics as usual. Prop 50 is about survival. If we lose, and I am always happy.
Oh, Latifah Simon.
Yeah,
that is my
being a
friend
new
that I
member
grew
of
up
Congress.
with.
I'm clear. I'm on that floor every single day. There will be no 2026. Every struggle, every civil rights struggle, our workers' rights struggles, the fight for women's rights, the ADA, the love for our immigrant communities. It depends on us keeping the ground that we have already won. I got to tell you, we're talking about an administration in 8 short months who has ripped you and your grandmother of Medicare, lessened food benefits for poor families, has ended clinical trials at second stage for children fighting cancer. This president, and I'm in here, sis, this president is hell-bent on stripping our folks of every single hard-won fight and right that we have bled for. So it's more than gerrymandering. Prop 50 provides the people of California with the opportunity to flex our power, to take back the dreams that we all have fought for. I believe that so
I voted
deeply
for her.
as an 11th generation American to the first generation Americans that I have been working with and working for. What's happening right now in Washington, D.C., this experiment of this republic is almost over, and I believe in this country. Prop 50 gives us the opportunity to fight back with all that we have, and we will win.
Scott Perry, who literally was a part of.
I could listen to you talk all day.
I'm pumped. We have to win.
Yeah, no, we have to win, and that's why if you can donate, you should. Yes on 50live.com.
Behind her,
okay, so I know that it's a big ask.
Yeah, I think they are.
I know people. It's hard to ask people.
It looks
to
like she's in a
money.
dressing room or
Why
something.
do you think it's a worthwhile thing for somebody to take their hard-earned dollars and donate it to a cause like this?
Yeah, I love the question. And so, like many folks on the call, we're all students of movements, whether you know how your parents ended up in this country, they fought like hell to give you a better life, or like me, I've been a student of the civil rights movement. I've been studying Keynesian nonviolence all my life with working with young people on the ground. If we can literally all give $5, $10, $25, $50, $3,000, whatever you have, what you do in this campaign, you are directly funding folks to organize in communities. We want folks to actually say, I'm going to take time off work. I'm actually going to be a paid organizer. I'm going to print window signs. I'm going to literally go into every laundromat. Remember, this campaign is not just about fighting the oligarchy. It's about making sure that mother who doesn't have quarters for laundry understands that she has the power to ensure that we keep medical care for elderly folks and for disabled folks, that we fight back against the homophobic and transphobic administration that is throwing all of our children under the bus. I'm a single mom. I've run campaigns myself to get into office. every window sign is $5, right? If I'm going to hire an organizer to knock 500 doors, I need to make sure that person has water. We need to get on TV every single day. The Republicans, they don't care about your health care. They don't care about your child who is desperately seeking a good education. So they're spending millions of dollars to flood the airwaves. I say we fight back with the little and big that we have. Whatever we have, this is it, sis. Sis, there's no 2026 if we don't win in November. They are doing everything possible to steal not just the democracy, but the way of life and the justice that we have fought for. And I say, hell no. So whatever I have, whatever we have that we can spare, let's fund our organizers. Let's fund our voices. Let's get on TV. Let's get on radio. Let's do this. We only have a few short weeks, but we can win. I know that. Tonight, we're going to take it to the top. We're going to get enough organizers hired, enough door knockers trained, enough phone bankers set in stone. We got to plug in phones. We got to buy laptops.
I'm right here. I'm in
Oakland
right here.
California will lead the fight. The fight to justice, the fight to equality. And look at the fight.
I don't think she can see you.
Very country's basic ideas of fairness and equity and a multicultural democracy that honors us all.
Period.
Hell yeah, girl.
Right?
Yes. Amazing. Well, okay. So I'm amazing to all of that. I am a comedian. And so I like to focus on putting a little bit of joy in our daily lives. And I feel like what makes us
She says she's a comedian.
special is that we are able to laugh.
I love
in the
her
face
opening
of
vibe.
darkness, and we do see light, even though things might look so dark.
Yes.
So what do you have any final words as we're going to be wrapping up here soon, like on what, because I feel like this is going to help the black and brown people specifically, if we can come together and we can like focus on the fact that there is hope and that we can that we are more alike than we are different. So what is something that you would say to those people specifically to get them out and get them to come together?
First of all, you said it. Organizing is joy. When our folks come together and it's fun. And we bring literally the stories of our people, and we're marching and we're knocking on doors and we're asking folks to literally lend their power. It's the most critical resistance that we can do in this moment. We feel really hopeless, many of us, because we see ICE on our streets. We see folks being, taken and kidnapped, and due process is thrown out the window. One of the things that
they're stealing our mango man, bro.
Is the joy is our power.
Man, you better break my mango man.
You have the right to vote in California. We can flip this whole script. Even if you're not in California, if you have $5 or $10 or $15 to spare in this moment, you will fuel a movement that will be undeniable. I would not tell you that if it was not true. So many times in politics, folks are given false promises. But one of the things that I know, again, being from California, my parents are from the South. I have an Afro-Latina daughter. Our lives are on the line. And so let's smile, let's sing, let's march. We can weep later. But right now we got to organize. All right. Thank you so much, sister. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. And everybody, yes, on 50 Live. That's where you find it.
Awesome.
Man.
And I should also note
I'm
that
gonna
we
write her a
have
letter. I'm gonna
surged
write
past the 500,000 mark.
We should maybe see if we could get her on the show. I bet you
as we head toward the end of this broadcast, please continue to donate. I should also note.
Go ahead and pause it right there.
Oh, sorry.
Let's do one more and then do our final wrap up and then close up because I think
this might be the end. Like there was only a couple I hadn't seen yet.
Okay.
But
so yeah, regardless.
Actually, no. You know what? We should probably wrap it up because I'm exhausted. We made it almost to the end, and we saw a lot of really good.
If A.B. Burns Tucker is on within the next, then I'm down to kind of peek at her, but. Yeah. Other than that, I think this was a really great conversation. I think
it was almost 3 hours.
I know. Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to be a long one, and apologies for not knowing that. I thought this was on Thursday for the rescheduling because in their flyer it kind of looked like a 8 instead of a 6.
You got your wish.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I manifested her. I love her. She really is great. also from Cali. Let's go ahead and listen to her.
So political correspondent with the Shade Room. So again, if you're not yet following, do yourself a favor and follow. And thank you for the work you're doing, breaking this stuff down. I know it is a Herculean feat task that you've taken on. And she's joined by two amazing fighters for democracy. We have Representative Kamlager Dove and also Representative Aguilar. Very excited to introduce you both from California's 37th and 33rd. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting independent media. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yay, I'm so excited. I'm excited to be joined by you both. Okay, Representative Kamlager Dove and Representative Aguilar. We got California in the house. Okay, baby, because y'all already know when Republicans go low, baby, in California, we get ready to squabble up. Okay, and we got two representatives here that are ready to fight for you. And fight we gonna do. Because I mean, I know y'all seen my homegirl Liz earlier. I don't know if y'all seen her, but it's upsetting me and my homegirl, okay? Because if you can't go to California to fight gerrymandering, where can you go? Where can you go? So let's get into it. I'm excited. So my first question is this. Kamlager Dove, I'll let you go first. Republicans are out here and they just trying to take power. Okay, they redrawing congressional maps mid-decade so they can stay in control. So first tell us, why the hell are they doing this? Then talk about what exactly is Prop 50. And then we're going to go into why Prop 50 is the perfect clapback for all this that's going on.
Back in the house. So, why are they doing this? They're doing this because they know they're going to lose in November, right? First, they did this $4.5 trillion tax cut for billionaires. They thought, oh, okay, people were going to be asleep at the wheel and be okay with that. Then we saw eggs started costing $15 a dozen and they were hard to find in the grocery stores, and gas was going up too. And then they said, well, we're going to have to pay for all these tax cuts by cutting your health care. So we had $770 billion cut to Medicare. We've seen cuts to Medicaid in the state of California, shutting down and firing federal departments, firing federal workers, shutting down USAID, which is as much about foreign aid as it is about making sure that our farmers, California is a farming state, are being able to get these contracts. So all of it's going to hell in a handbasket. And the American people started waking up and they were like, oh, homie is not playing any of this, because this
again,
man
a little
ran
bit
for
too
office
late
to make the cost of living go down,
At least
not to have it skyrocket and then have all the money go into his pockets, because he's so, confused that all he wants to do is put more golden candelabras
I like the smaller
in the White
people
House,
for sure, like
and
the
then
people
win
that
these
we're
arbitrary
learning about.
tariffs around the world so that we as
didn't catch her
consumers have
name.
to pay more. So he said, hey, 26 is coming up.
Sydney
Folks are waking up to the game.
Kamlager
They
Dove.
might vote some of these Republicans out of office
They're
because
both in
these
California.
Republicans are not listening to the people. So let me call my governors in these red states and see which one will do what I ask. And what I'm asking for is more seats. I need more red seats. I want you to gerrymander. They still They're rigging it. And so who answered the call? Gregory Abbott. And he went into a back room, wheeled on in there, and without even consulting other Republican legislators, okay? That's how nasty they are. He redrew some maps. And in doing that, what he did was he's silencing voters in Texas, and he's erasing the possibility for people of color, Black folks, brown folks to be able to run for those seats. He is cutting off the pipeline at the local level because he's getting rid of seats at the federal level where folks would run. So, the bear was hibernating. We're trying to handle our own business, get these ICE agents all up out of Los Angeles, right? And make sure that folks can go to their jobs, go to their churches, go to their hearings without being snatched and kidnapped and detained and deported. But the bear woke up and said, I don't think so. And we came up with Prop 50. And, our Democratic caucus chair will I think, share about, what Prop 50 is. But what we know, it's transparent. We know it's temporary. We know it's fair. And we know that it obeys the law. Did I set you up, Pete Aguilar?
You did, SKD. Thank you so much. Good to be with you, AB.
SKD.
Like Sydney said,
I like her.
Look, this is California punching back, doing everything we can. And we know we have the winning recipe because this is transparent. As Sydney said, Texas and Greg Abbott just changed the system and try to steal 5 seats. We go to the voters and we created a map collaboratively working together to punch back, but we made it temporary. The independent commission that we like comes back in 2031. We respect the Voting Rights Act. We respect Black and brown districts, and we make sure that we are meeting this moment and punching back appropriately. And so that's why we're transparent, we're fair. Because
I heard transparency a lot tonight. I like that.
Proposition 50. Yes on 50live.com is where you can go to help out. 50 yes on 50live.com. Thank you guys so much for elevating this platform and for giving us this space to talk about this, because this is so incredibly important. We cannot let Republicans steal an election. I absolutely believe, and Sydney and I both subscribe to what Latifah said, this is about free and fair elections in 2026 and in 2028. And we won't have those if Republicans can consolidate power around these terrible policies and rig the system as they go each and every month.
It's also about jobs. It's about healthcare. It's about having a future for your family. It's about being able to go to school and get an education. It's about not being afraid that all of the colleges and universities in your town are going to dry up. It's about knowing that you can walk outside your home and not be detained and deported, not be lynched because of the color of your skin. These are folks that want a national abortion ban. They are doing every single thing that they can to take us back to pre-Jim Crow. Okay. And I am not being hyperbolic. So it is about democracy, but it is also about the money in your pocket and your ability to earn and learn and have a family. And if folks don't want you engaged, if they don't want you to be able to vote, if they don't want you to have love for your country, then they have won. And we cannot let that happen. No way, not now, not ever.
Okay, period. And with that being said, right, not only do we need y'all money, but we need y'all to pull up and actually vote, right? So turnout in special elections are usually pretty low, right? Especially in Black and minority communities. Rep. Aguilar, I think your district is something like 60% Hispanic and maybe about 10% Black. Rep. Kamala Dove, I think yours is something about 54% Black or Hispanic, about 20% Black, something right there. Why do you think why do you think it's so hard for us to get these people out, or get these people out to vote? Great question. Are we not communicating properly? Is it a failure on political leadership? Are we not meeting voters where they are? What do we need to do to make sure not only we get the money to make sure we're getting the message out, but we get these people registered to vote? Today is National Registration Day. Register to vote and outvoted, so that we can redistrict. And yes, on Prop 50, Rep. Aguilar, I'll start with you.
Yeah, National
Another person I want to hit
Voting
up.
Registration Day. This is so incredibly important. I think the answer to your question is we have to inspire people. And just like Sydney said, we have to make this about the American public and what they benefit when we are able to govern. And when Leader Jeffries becomes Speaker Jeffries, we're going to be able to lower the costs of healthcare for people. We're going to be able to put more money in people's pockets. We're going to be able to clean up the culture of corruption that allows the president to trade in meme coins and the Supreme Court to run around and without a code of ethics or any principles at all. I mean, those are the things that we're going to be able to do when we have the ability to push back legislatively. But to Sydney's point, we have to make this and center this around the American public. And they are getting crushed by costs. They're getting crushed in this Trump economy. And we have to connect the dots and tell them why Yes on 50 is going to help them. And so that's the important piece, but we have to do more. We got to knock on doors. We got to reach people. We got to tell them this is just going to be a small ballot. We just need them to put in yes and send it back in. And because in California, we have an ability for mail-in voting that doesn't exist around the country. And we have a strong ability to allow people to exercise their right to vote. We need to make sure that they use it, that they use their voice, and that they do it. Around the country, people are waiting in lines for hours. We're making this easy for people. If you're working 2 jobs, if you're picking up your kids,
give me my belly right now.
Late, you don't have to make that choice whether I'm going to pick up my kids late or go to vote. You can do it in the comfort of your own home, and you're going to have a ballot at your home in just a couple of weeks.
All right, so y'all going to the projects with me, right, to get them folks registered to vote?
All right, let's
yes, queen.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's wrap this up, this video up, because I'm very tired. So thank you guys.
That was a great way to end it, though. I really do think so.
Thank you guys all for tuning in.
Yeah,
those of you that did.
Let's just give our little final thoughts on this thing. What you think of, like, what the whole thing was about and what you thought about it. And
I like the fact of bringing all these people from like different parts of the country and different areas. It wasn't just like California-based people, and it was people with different backgrounds and not necessarily different viewpoints, but the message was simple.
Mm-hmm.
Facts, truth, transparency, vote,
and actual action. And living in reality and fighting in the reality that we're in, and not like living in some la la land. So I agree. I ditto everything that you said. I think California has a lot of power in this fight, and is a good leader. And I really hope that this galvanizes other like blue states or blue cities to do the same sort of work. You know what I mean? And we'll be keeping an eye on all these new people that we met today that I didn't know about in this 3-hour-long marathon that we just sat through.
Something to remember is don't ever let them think that they overpower you. There's more of us than there are of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just gotta start doing that connection thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Start connecting with people and just sharing the information. It's not rocket science here to like really figure this out. It's just the lack of awareness on our side and education on our side, and the lack of transparency, which we heard a lot today. And also, like, I think a lot of people cannot comprehend like words anymore. So we're fighting like literally like this is something else here. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, thanks so much for being here. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe.
Check us out on Substack.
Check us out on our new Substack. Follow me at Maymoney Honey on Instagram. That's where you can get a hold of us. Also, put our email down there below if you want to hit us up. We are always down for any sort of communication or comments with the work that we're doing, and this is just the beginning. So anyway, all right, Katie, you want to wrap us up? Keep us going.